Okay, welcome everyone to the special meeting, the swearing-in ceremony for Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. Madam City Clerk, may we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Chow?
Here.
Councilmember Sinks?
Here.
Councilmember Willie?
He was here.
Councilmember
I know.
Willie, where did you go?
I know he's here. Vice Mayor Paul?
Here.
Mayor Scharf?
Here. Okay, so our first item is the election results. Kirsten will announce them, and if anybody wants to speak on the election results, they will have 60 seconds to speak on that. They can raise their hand and remind everyone that the comments have to be relevant to the agenda item topic. And if you don't follow this requirement, you will be issued a warning, then a ruling from the chair that you're out of order, and a third time your time will be expire and you'll be muted, and you'll get 60 seconds for that. So Kirsten, can we have the election results, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The results for the general municipal election held on November 3rd, 2020 are being presented. The city conducted an election to elect 2 council members to the city council. The Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters has conducted the official canvass of the returns. A final copy was provided to the council as a written communication just earlier tonight because we received them quite late. And this was the results were also posted to the city's website in the location of tonight's meeting agenda and in the digital archives for the public. The Registrar of Voters has certified the election results, and the total number of votes cast in the city was 44,819. The 2 candidates who received the most votes for the position of council member were Hung Wei, who received 11,513 votes, and Kitty Moore, who received 10,893 votes. The recommended action before you is to adopt resolution number 20-139, declaring these totals to be the final results of the election.
Okay, thank you. I do see 3 speakers that wish to speak on the election results. The first speaker, and you'll get 60 seconds to speak on the results, and you must stick to this agenda item. The first one is Supervisor Joe Simidian. Joe Simidian, welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and I'll defer my comments to recognition of outgoing council members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me see if anyone else wanted to speak on this. I see one more speaker whose hand goes up and down here and now is missing. It was Julian Lee. Are you? Oh, that person's disappeared. So Homer Tong. Wait, here's Julian. I can't. Okay, Julian Lee, go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
This is election fraud. You cannot have Hong Wei to swear because she abused 3 students and used taxpayer money to fraud. Also, Elegant Hair Salon, she is not a registered voter, but she received better. Also, yesterday, Kirsten Square lied to everybody. She said Helene Lee can post my 300 word. She totally lied. This is an election fraud, and it's a fraud. So Steve Shaw need to stop any swearing or inauguration because this need to have a city attorney to talk about that. Why Asian woman cannot post 300 words? Now I only have 200 words political statement to say, and also all my loan side is stolen. This is a very serious criminal.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is only to speak about the election results, not for anything else on the agenda. So Homer Tong, would you like to speak about the election results?
Yes, can you folks hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I'm very happy to see the results as indicated earlier. And do we say, can I say or save or reserve my time later after she's installed, or can I say?
Right, yeah, this is not the time for that. Yes,
It's not the time for that. then
right. Yeah, that's later in the meeting to recognize the incoming council
Okay.
members.
Then I'll wait till then.
Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing no one else wishing to speak on the election results, I will make a motion that we adopt Resolution 20-139, stating the election results of the general municipal election held on November 3rd, 2020, and declaring the candidates who received the most votes and were elected for the position of council member.
I second that.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, can we have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Chow,
Aye.
Councilmember Sinks,
Yes.
Councilmember Willie,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Paul,
Aye.
Mayor Scharf.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Great. Now I will ask Vice Mayor Paul to chair the remainder of the meeting. So Vice Mayor, you may take over now.
Thank you, Mayor Scharf, and thank you for your years of service. I would like to ask for any public comments regarding Mayor Scharf and Councilmember Singh's. At this time, we are on item number 2, which is the recognition of outgoing council members. However, we do have some early requests based upon scheduling, and we'll be starting with a few people who have requested to speak earlier due to their scheduling related issues. Given the amount of people that we have on this call and the increasing number of hands, we'll be limiting the comments to 90 seconds. And I would reiterate what Mayor Scharf said with regard to staying on topic. I would like to institute a basic procedure here. So this will be your notice for it. If you're not following the topic, you'll be first issued a warning. And then the next time I will be ruling as chair at this point that the speaker is out of order. And if it happens a third time before the expiration of the time limitation of 90 seconds, the speaker will be muted. So first up, I am very pleased and honored to welcome the Congress member who represents our area, Ro Khanna. Welcome, Congressman Khanna.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Well,
We
thank
can't see
you.
you though. I was told you were going to be promoted on video.
I think that's on their end because I was on video, and I don't know why I'm not on video, but I guess I could they just make remarks because whatever they have me on doesn't have the video. So I'll just make remarks. Well, thank you, Mayor Dorsey, Paul, for your introduction and for what I anticipate will be your election as mayor. And thank you, Mayor Scharf, for your service to the council, which we recognize with a certificate of welcome to Hung Wei and Kitty Moore, the new council members. And thank you to Liang Xiao and John Willie for your continuing service. I want to take this time to recognize Rod Singh's 8 years of service on the city council. Rod, when I think of Rod, I think of the environment and I think of jobs and transportation. Rod helped work with the Regional Air Quality Board on issues of odor and pollution. He's helped work with the Lehigh Cement Factory. He's talked about a transportation system where we actually have people going to jobs and jobs being in cities and not having the sprawl that we see. He's been a real visionary on so many issues. I could speak probably for a half hour, but I know we're all limited in time. And just wanted to salute his service. He's been a personal friend. His service has been exemplary. And I think he's a role model for what public service should be like in the Bay Area. So Rod, I salute you. Thank you for what you've done. And I know your service to our community and district is going to continue in many ways.
Thank you,
Bro,
Congressman.
thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time from Washington. We know you're busy.
And our next speaker, we are also privileged to have Assembly Member Evan Lowe here. And I will unmute one of your participant items. If it's not the correct one, we'll try the other one.
Vice Mayor Paul and council members, good evening. It's a pleasure to join you here in the recognition of the years of service for a number of your council members. First off, to Councilmember Singh's a total tenure of 8 years, to which you and I had served collectively in the West Valley cities, not only just in the regional entities of the Joint Powers Authorities, but also in many activities in my current capacity. You've never shied away when it came time to call us to the carpet in which the state needs to be doing more, and similarly had the type of courage to also have dialogue to which the state is doing well. But I think that's important. That's what we need in our communities, to having public servants articulate and advocate for the best interest of residents. And you've always done that, and I appreciate that very much. Our city will miss you and very much look forward to the next steps in the future, but I know that we'll know where to find you. So again, Councilmember Singh, thank you very much for your distinguished service.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. To Mayor Scharf, thank you very much also similarly for having the type of respect and commitment to public service. It's a thankless job oftentimes in which there are long hours, underpaid, but similarly so, you held us to account in the state level, and we'd have some very passionate conversations about the interests of Cupertino residents. And I respect that very much. So to your dedicated service and for a historic nature of serving 2 terms as mayor, thank you very much. We'll look forward to the continued partnerships ahead, and to the new council members, Hung Wei and Kitty Moore, we look forward to working with you in serving the residents of Cupertino. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
Well, thank you, Assemblymember Lowe. And our next speaker is Councilmember Julie Testa of Pleasanton. She is also the CEO of California Association of Local Electeds. Julie, I will be unmuting you now. And you'll also have to unmute yourself on your side as well. Okay, so.
Wait, I got it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. I apologize that. Good evening. I am Julie Testa, Pleasanton City Council member, but tonight I'm speaking as the Executive Director of California Alliance of Local Electeds, a statewide alliance of local city officials. I'm here to acknowledge the leadership of Mayor Scharf. He has shown working in Sacramento on behalf of Cupertino. Mayor Scharf has stood with his peers from cities across the state to push back on the intrusion that proposed state legislation that would have negative consequences on our communities. He has been a consistent voice to protect the environment when state legislation has proposed to erode CEQA. Stephen has spoken in support of true affordable housing while opposing bills that would lead to displacement and gentrification. I have admired Mayor Stephen Scharf's courage and appreciated his wry wit, as he often called out the false claims of an agenda that promoted profits and threatens the communities that he is committed to. I know that I can count on Stephen Scharf to continue to work on behalf of the best interests of the residents of this city that he cares so much for. I look forward to standing with you in the future, Stephen. Thank you for your service, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you, Julie.
Yes, thank you, Julie. And our next speaker is Hope Chauhan, a representative of Cindy Chavez, the president of the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you. I'm Hope Cahan, Senior Policy Advisor for Supervisor Cindy Chavez. Supervisor Chavez wanted to join the meeting this evening to thank Rod Singhs for his years of service. Unfortunately, she's currently chairing the BTA board meeting, so she asked me to join the meeting instead to read this into the record for her. Rod, I have enjoyed working with you over the years. I admire your dedication to improving the environment and public transit while always being extremely thoughtful about the needs of and impact to the community. I was impressed by your tenacity during the creation of the Silicon Valley Clean Energy Authority and with your leadership at the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. You have been a great partner in our work to expand remote work options. You are always ready to jump in and assist at a moment's notice. I will miss working with you at the Air District, your wise counsel and big heart. I hope that being off the council provides you with more time for those family canoe trips, and I look forward to continuing our efforts on remote work. Thank you for all of your service.
Thank you, Hope. We know that you're also a council member in Maine, and so thank you for bridging 3 time zones to come and speak this evening. I really deeply appreciate your participation on behalf of Cindy.
It's my pleasure.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Hope. Our next speaker is Lydia Ko, council member of Palo Alto City Council. Welcome, Lydia.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Tonight I'm here. My name is Lydia Koo with the City of Palo Alto, council member. I would like to say to Mayor Scharf, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your outstanding efforts during your leadership as City Council member and 2-time mayor, for your tireless service, your infectious enthusiasm, and your boundless humor, and for lighting and fanning the flame of hope for so many. You have stood up together with us for other city council members and other city elected officials to fight Sacramento, creating a system of power without responsibility or accountability and of perverse incentives. Regional agencies such as MTC and ABAG have given the power to assign cities allocations but bear no cost when they get it wrong. Basic management science is that when unreasonable quotas are assigned, counterproductive conduct ensures. For example, cheating and plundering of resources from elsewhere. I know you are a great supporter and a great defender of our environment. And since my time is going up, I just want to say thank you for the time and for your service. And I'll be working alongside with you in the coming years. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Councilmember Koo. You're muted, Darcy.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is CEO Jack Broadbent of the Bay Area Air Quality Management District.
Good evening. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Vice Mayor, members of the council and public. I'm Jack Broadbent, Executive Director for the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. And I'm honored to be here tonight to recognize outgoing Councilman Rod Singh. Rod has served as our chair for the Regional Air Quality Management Board for this past year. And it's been through Rod's leadership that we've been able to navigate one of the most difficult years for the Air District, and frankly, for all agencies I know in the Bay Area. Of course, we've been dealing with the pandemic and the economic fallout. And we've also been dealing with a variety of systemic racism issues that have manifested itself with regard to environmental justice concerns by community members in and around the Bay Area. But additionally, this past year, we've been dealing with the wildfires and the associated fallout of particulate matter. Rod has the distinction of presiding over a year in which we've experienced the worst air quality this past year, and I don't think there's a connection, Rod. Please don't. But
thank you for mentioning that, Jack.
There's no relation. But seriously, it has been a tumultuous year, but through his steadfast leadership, we've been able to move forward with a clean air and climate agenda. And it brings me to one of our most important policy efforts that we have underway that we're launching. And that is through Rod's leadership, we've been able to launch and establish the first regional ban on natural gas from new construction, which really that's really a testament to Rod's efforts. So in closing, I just want to congratulate Rod and a successful public service career and wish him well. And thank you for allowing me to provide these comments.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you so much. Very well appreciated, and it's been an honor to serve with you.
Our next speaker is Peggy Griffin. Welcome, Peggy. Peggy is a Cupertino resident and community volunteer.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. Mayor Scharf, thank you for your 4 years of service in the City Council, but also for over 20 years of service to our community. You have been involved and engaged in Cupertino since you moved here. When you were elected in 2016, you were the very first grassroots candidate. You have led the pack at making a difference, but you were doing that before. You just had a different seat. Your efforts leading the Legislative Review Committee has been outstanding. Thank you for your clear and well-written letters representing Cupertino and its achievements in housing. All 5 of the city's housing element sites have been approved for housing, and the verandas, 100% low-income project, was approved in record time. But it's not just about the market rate and the low-income housing. Your work in the county's unhoused task force is working to address our homeless population. Your passions and achievements, together with the other current council members, have improved our parks, trails, bike safety, environment, library, and much more. I encourage you to continue to be involved in Cupertino because you really care, and that makes a difference. Our city needs your knowledge, experience, skills, and commitment. We look forward to your continued participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you, Peggy. Our next speaker is the CEO of Silicon Valley Clean Energy, Girish Balachandran. Welcome.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul and members of the City Council. I'm the CEO of Silicon Valley Clean Energy, a relatively new agency that was formed in 2016. And Rod Singh's, Councilmember Singh's, was a founding member. Cupertino was a founding member, but Rod actually got involved in the work to form SVCE many years before that. And really, our mission at SVCE is to bend the carbon curve downward. And essentially, that's what Rod has done, not just for all the residents and businesses of the city of Cupertino, but Rod, your influence is felt way beyond that. It's for the Bay Area and California. CCAs are a relatively new concept, and we were the first CCA to be 100% carbon free. And so thank you, Rod, for the work that you've done. You're always prepared at our meetings. You think about the big picture and the long term while having your eye on what's going on day to day. Your work in the legislature on behalf of SVCE has been invaluable. You've saved the entire customer base $55 million and reduced emissions by 24%. You've made a huge difference. Thank you very much for your service. You're going to be missed a lot.
Thank you. It's been a great team effort, Girish, and I appreciate your coming this evening.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And our next speaker, we're very privileged to have the Board of Supervisors, supervisor representing our area, Supervisor Joe Simidian. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. And I want to be a little informal here, if I may, because I've worked with Rod and with Steve Scharf over the last many years. And so I want to say thank you to both of you gentlemen. I know at the risk of understatement that Cupertino politics can be a little rough and tumble sometimes, but I want your constituents to know that it has been my pleasure to work with both of you, that our every interaction has been a good one, whether we've agreed or not. And the Burnett Bike and Pedestrian Bridge behind Rod and the Community Center behind Steve are places that have some personal affinity for me. But gentlemen, I hope that your evening allows you to take a few minutes and look at the resolutions of appreciation that came from our entire Board of Supervisors, because it includes the work that both of you have done on regional bodies and beyond the immediate boundaries of Cupertino, and it really is a testament to the extraordinary breadth and depth of the work both of you have done. But the thing I want to tell your constituents before my time elapses is you might think that these two folks would have short-timers disease or have put their feet up a week or two ahead of this final meeting, but not the case. Literally within the last week or two, I have been in touch with both of these council members, heard from them both. Rod on the matter of our Measure B transportation funding. Steve just a week and a half ago on COVID-19 issues and the importance of rigorous measures there. So I want all of your constituents, for both of you, and they are of course my common constituents, to know that literally until the last moment when you walked out the virtual door, you were on the job with the concerns of your citizenry and constituents top of mind. So thank you both. It's been a pleasure working with you all these years, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come in ways that we don't even yet know. Be well.
Oh, thank you, Joe. And I have never disagreed with you, for the record.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Simidian.
Take care.
Thanks very much. Our next speaker is Jennifer Sheeran. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, can everyone hear me now?
We can hear you.
Great. Good evening, everyone. I'll be brief. I wish to express thanks to both Rod and Steve for their tireless and strong advocacy for increasing alternative transportation and for the respect for their constituents. We've seen some great bike and ped projects approved during their tenures, making Cupertino a safer, more livable, and more enjoyable place to be. Both Rod and Steve should be commended for their work. It's not a surprise to anyone that Rod and Steve disagree on many things, but both have worked hard to improve our city, and both have acted in council meetings to respect the time of their constituents and to treat all residents appropriately. I've had many conversations with both of them, and I always felt that my viewpoint was respected, even if they didn't agree with me. When I was a commissioner, they were concerned about the harassment that I and my children were facing and didn't brush it off as, quote, part of the job, as I heard from another council member. They have tried to keep our council meetings running smoothly and of a reasonable duration by doing their research ahead of the meeting and speaking a reasonable amount of time from the dais. These are actions that should be expected from our council members. Their legacies of improving our city for everyone who walks or bikes, likely 99% of Cupertino, will live on. And I hope that our continuing and incoming council members will also follow their example in how to govern our city for all Cupertino residents. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Jennifer. Our next speaker is Muni Madapatla. Welcome, Muni.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Dear Mayor Stephen Scharf, I'd like to thank you for great 4 years of service and leadership you provided to our community. I say this from the bottom of my heart, as you refuse to give in to lobbyist pressure and refuse to wine and dine with lobbyists and developers. You always took the residents and community first approach to everything you did. It's unfortunate that we could not re-elect you for 4 more years of great service, which is a big loss for our community. I really hope you consider taking up some other important roles to serve the community, as you have too much to offer with the depth of knowledge on various city matters. Thank you again for your commitment to our city.
Oh, thank you, Muni.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Muni. Our next speaker is Juliet Sheeran. Welcome, Juliet.
Good evening, incoming and outgoing council members. I'm proud to have been Mayor Scharf's intern this past year and a half. He's been a great mayor for Cupertino these past 2 years. He's encouraged many city programs that benefit all residents. He's been an excellent advocate for alternative transportation, and he's been a strong voice for Cupertino in the South Bay and statewide. He's been careful with our city budget while making sure that necessary work is done. Even on top of that, Mayor Scharf really puts into practice what he advocates for. Using a bike for transportation, conserving water personally with a low water usage garden, and giving his personal time and hard work to local worthy causes like Cupertino's Tournament of Bands. These are part of Mayor Scharf's daily life. It's really commendable that he practices what he preaches and offers a great example to the community. I was given the opportunity to learn from Mayor Scharf, and I'm incredibly grateful that I got it. Mayor Scharf is someone I really look up to, and I'm sure many other students here in Cupertino feel the same. Tonight, I say a big thank you to Mayor Scharf for everything he's done for Cupertino. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Juliet. That was very nice.
Thank you, Juliet. Our next speaker is, I believe, Councilmember Howard Miller of Saratoga. Welcome, Councilmember Miller.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. A little bit more informal. Thank you, Darcy. So I'm Howard Miller, the outgoing mayor of Saratoga, and I had the honor to work shoulder to shoulder, virtually shoulder to shoulder with Stephen this last year. And I'll just say for the citizens of Cupertino, from a regional point of view, Stephen serves the city with honor and a distinction. He's done you well. Turn my attention to Rod Sinks, who I've known since before he started even considering running for office. And he and I have had the distinction of being the top 2 patent holders of elected officials in Santa Clara County, which means when you get the engineer and the physicist together, we can argue for an hour before we both come up with long mathematical derivations to prove that we actually agree 100%. We just didn't know it. But what that brings to the region is you put Rod and I on the Clean Energy Board, and we can quickly decide that 70% clean energy is not good enough and RPS is not good. So we got 100% clean energy. You get Rod on BACMA and he comes up with grants so that we can put in DC fast chargers, for which Saratoga was the first recipient. And I'll leave this for Cupertino. Go get one of these. We make $1,000 a month and it's the perfect thing to have at your city library. Anyway, the environment in the city of Cupertino is better thanks to the work of Rod Sinks, and I wish him well, and I won't be far if he wants to have another debate. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you. We'll have a patent duel, Howard.
Our next speaker is Ignatius Ding. Welcome, Ignatius. Ignatius, are you there? You'll have to unmute your computer if you can hear this.
Hello, Mayor Scharf. Too bad we can't shake your hand and say the proper goodbye as you complete your 4-year term on the council and the 2-year mayorship leading our city through the economic growth as well as the difficult health crisis and downturn. Thanks for your exceptional public service, not only the years on the city council, but also the years of volunteer work to serve our community and local schools. No words can sufficiently express our appreciation of your contribution for decades. It's not only for your unique brand of leadership and much underappreciated sense of humor, but also your expertise and insight of the well-being of our city and residents. Once again, please remain engaged in public service as in any capacity of your choosing in the coming years and years. And for the record, I voted for Rod Sink 8 years ago because I mistakenly believe he's an environmentalist and a good citizen for a lot to contribute. 4 years later, I voted against him for your election. He destruction of city policy and the general plan in particular to serve the interests of mega developers and outside special interest at the expense of his own constituency. So the very foundation of a democracy rests in self-governing, and whether it's city, county, state, or country, we'll guide ourselves through sensible decision-making process and majority rules. No need for any outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ignatius. Our next speaker is Jennifer Griffin. Welcome, Jennifer. And Jennifer, if you can hear me, you'll need to.
I just unmuted myself, Darcy. Thank you so much. Mayor Sinks, thank you so much for your 8 years of service. Public service takes people away from their families, their jobs, whatever they were doing. And you have been there through the thick and thin. I can tell you, you've been there late nights, and it's a thankless job sometimes, but thank you for your service and your time with Cupertino. Mayor Scharf, thank you for your service, for your 4 years, community involvement. It has been a ride the last couple of years. I can't think of a better person to have gone through Cupertino with it. It is very, very important that the community stay engaged, focused, and listen to what is happening at Sacramento and in Cupertino. Everything is important. And Stephen, I hope to see you back here again in 2 years, 4 years. We hope to see you. I would like to have the governor replace Kamala's position with yours as our new senator. I would have no doubt you would be an excellent focus in Washington, D.C. And I mean that with all my heart. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jennifer. I don't know if I want to go to Washington.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Our next speaker is Lisa Warren. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello, good evening. I speak tonight as a long-term resident, volunteer, and advocate for many members of our community. I can easily say that Mayor Scharf will be missed, but I don't expect that he will be missing. I'm very grateful that Stephen has served on this council for the last 4 years. I'm grateful that he made the decision to be a candidate in 2016, a time of much turmoil in our city and a time that drove much needed change and readjustment to what happens here. Stephen has been a longtime advocate for Cupertino residents. I have known of Stephen for decades, but came to know more about him over the last 6 years. He has been a steadfast participant in our city at many levels and for many causes for a long, long time. Being a council member and a mayor is only the most recent role he has played as a resident and volunteer. Mayor Scharf is creative, smart, humorous, and informed. He can also be, shall we say, sarcastic in his delivery. That trait is not always appreciated, but it has not stopped Stephen from being instrumental in connection to critical actions and decisions that will hopefully benefit our city for years to come. I said that I don't expect Stephen to be missing, and I hope I'm correct. I trust that he will continue to advocate for what he believes is best for our community, regardless of what side of the dais he is on. Thank you, Mayor Scharf.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Our next speaker is Helene Davis. Welcome, Helene.
Mute. Hello, can you hear me? Great. Hi, this is Helene Davis. I am here this evening as the president of the Cupertino Sister Cities Association. And I just want to thank Rod Sinks for your service to the community, Rod, and your passion for environmental issues. And Stephen Scharf, thank you so much for supporting our sister cities and for leading our delegation to Cupertino, Italy last year. We had a lot of fun and I got an opportunity to get to know you. And I'm going to go ahead and say congratulations to Hung Wei and to Kitty Moore now, so I don't need to come back. But I really am looking forward to working with both of you on sister city issues and other items as well. Thank you very much all for your service.
Okay, thank you, Helene, for keeping it brief. And our next speaker is Sima Linscott. Welcome, Sima.
Hi, Vice Mayor Paul, and I wanted to speak today to say thank you to both Councilmember Sinks and Councilmember Scharf. You guys have been fantastic partners, both of you, in coming from two very different angles, but you're both passionate about walking and biking in the city, and you've been strong advocates for us on the city council, and it's been very, very much appreciated. We've made a lot of progress in the city. We have a long ways to go still, but we owe that in great part to both of you for everything you've done for us. And I also wanted to mention Councilman Sinks, all your work on the VTA and the clean air, and in the South Bay and in the region will be missed. And somebody has very big shoes to fill. So hope to see you in some sort of capacity again soon, because I think the region would benefit from having you involved. Thank you both. And yeah, I'll leave the rest for later. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Sima. Our next speaker is Eric Shafer. Welcome, Eric. And Eric, if you can hear me, you'll need to unmute.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. Mayor Scharf, you have a long history of working to safeguard our community. I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly thank you and to recognize some of your key work on the council that I hold in high regard. On the council, you and Councilmember Paul sounded the alarm over what was then new state law SB 35 and encouraged the council to take action to mitigate against the effects on our town. Unfortunately, your prescient call was ignored by 3 of your council colleagues, and today the city has fewer opportunities and a weaker bargaining position for what will become of the Valco Shopping Center. Your council approved the Westport Cupertino project, which sends a strong signal to all developers that reasonable projects have a place in Cupertino. During your tenure as a city official, you built bridges with other municipalities, as we heard from council members Testa and Koo, and with citizens groups to stem the tide of laws from the state legislature that wrest control from the residents' local representatives. Your departure from the council is a tremendous loss for local control, and I'm sad to think what might become of Cupertino if the trend continues. I hope that you will continue your informed and courageous efforts to stand with residents, to stand against special interests, and to steadfastly support the residents of our town, our county, and our state. Thank you, Mayor Scharf.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Our next speaker is Rena Rao. Welcome, Rena.
Hi, everyone. Mahesh is here with me. So Mahesh and I will represent Cupertino Bhubaneswar sister city, and Mahesh will continue the.
Thanks, Rena, and thanks, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Hey, good evening, all. Again, I'm speaking on behalf of the Cupertino Bhubaneswar sister city, and I have been associated with the Cupertino city for over 15 years now. Today, there will be a changing of guard when the Mayor Stephen Sharp, after 4 years of service, and City Council Member Rod Singh, after 8 years of public service. Both have been instrumental in bringing the dawn of a new day for Cupertino City. One in managing constructive development, the other in making the environment with clean energy. Both have worked really hard to carry out their elected duties with no space to complain. And while both your approaches have been different, your mutual goal was to make Cupertino the best city it could be, and always supported the Bhubaneswar Cupertino sister city. Again, thank you so much for the time.
Excellent. Thank you, Rena and Mahesh. Our next speaker is Connie Cunningham. Welcome, Connie.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. And I was wondering too, am I to talk about both people in this 1 minute and 30 seconds?
1 minute, 20 seconds now.
Well, first off, Rod Singh, you have served admirably on the City Council for the past 8 years. Your leadership on the environment with Silicon Valley Energy Association, on transportation with the State Route 85 Corridor Policy Advisory Board to VTA, and housing with your support of below market rate housing. This leadership combined with people skills showcased your remarkable skills. Thank you for both your leadership and your heart. Very best wishes in the coming years as you look forward to your future. And Stephen Scharf, thank you for your service on the council to Cupertino and for your leadership on creating bicycle and pedestrian trails. As our city moves forward on climate change, changing transportation choices towards walking, bicycling, and public transit will be key to meeting Cupertino's challenges. I wish you continued good health and safety in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Darcy, one point of order. Rod has served for 9 years, not 8 years. Many people have said that
very good.
incorrectly.
Thank you, Connie. Our next speaker is Sevilla Vaidyanathan. Welcome, Sevilla.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I would like to thank Mayor Scharf for his service to the city, and I had the honor of serving for 2 years alongside you, and thank you for all the work that you've done for our bike and pet trails and for all the youth in our community. Thank you very much. And my comments for Councilmember Rao Singh's, yes, of the 9 years that you've served our city, I had the honor of serving with you for 4 years. Everyone has talked about all the work that you've done for transportation, for environment, for housing. It was my honor and pleasure to learn from you and serve with you and serve our community. You will be greatly missed. And I must say that I look forward to serving alongside you in a different capacity once you're off that seat. Congratulations, and thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, former Mayor Vaidyanathan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Savita. Our next speaker is Tessa Parish. Welcome, Tessa.
Good evening. Thank you. I just wanted to personally thank Mayor Scharf for your candid, down-to-earth, and hilarious community engagement. As a Newark active community member, Stephen Scharf was an inspiration to me, and I always thought he was well-researched and thought out in his comments. Whenever I had a question or required some of his input or someone that had experience, he wasn't too busy, and he always helped me with any questions. I love seeing you cycling around the town. I really felt that you walk the talk. I look forward to seeing you in a very active community and any other capacity that you wish to. And I want to second that. I'd love to see you in Washington too. That's all. Just want to keep it brief. Thank you, and keep fighting the good fight. Okay.
Thank you, Tessa.
Thank you, Tessa. Our next speaker is R. Wang. Welcome. Hey, R. Wang, if you can hear me, you'll need to unmute yourself on your side. Otherwise, we can go to the next person and cycle back. Okay, our next speaker is Govan Tatachari. Welcome, Govan. Govan, you'll need to unmute yourself as well.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, and thank you, Vice Mayor, City Clerk, and incoming and outgoing council members for the opportunity to speak today. Council members volunteer their time to serve on the council, and I wish to thank both Stephen Scharf and Rod Singhs for the service to Cupertino as council member and as mayor. I met Stephen Scharf during winter of 2015. He was probably the first grassroots candidate backed by residents fighting big money involvement, and the first to campaign on a bike back in 2016. Another first is he published his positions on various issues before his election in 2016, something unthinkable at that time for anyone running for council member position. That is classic Steve, fighting for transparency. During his tenure as mayor, he also instituted that speakers should get their 3 minutes to speak. There are many areas related to housing, and Stephen advocated, worked on, and voted in favor to approve. We won't have time to cover all of them. They include ADU ordinance, housing insecurity, and the projects he approved, and things related to Valco. Anyway, so I hope you all agree that we need local democracy and local control. Stephen and Liang Stephen has advocated for local control. Another important thing he has advocated is for non-discrimination in public employment, contracting, and education. Hope these points give a good idea of the areas of city governance and legislation that Stephen Scharf contributed to. Thank you, Stephen, for your leadership in these areas. March on, and since you have a lot to offer.
Thank you, Govan.
Thank you, Govan. I see R. Wang is back with his hand up, so I'm going to unmute you. Welcome, R. Wang.
Hey there, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Well, hey, good evening, everyone. Councilman Singh, congratulations. Well, we've never had a chance to speak. Congratulations on 9 years of serving on the Cupertino City Council. I wish you the best in the future. I also want to congratulate Mayor Scharf for his courage, compassion, and spirit of inclusiveness. I speak for many when we say thank you for standing up for residents' rights against the corporate and special interests backed by the evil forces of Sacramento, designed to destroy our quality of life, be it housing, environment, or residents' rights. You lead by example, you inspire others. Your tireless spirit to bring back pragmatic approaches to public service has been an inspiration to residents for over 20 years. And more importantly, your advocacy for every citizen and ability to find collaborative solutions has been amazing. So thanks for fighting the fight. Hope to see you in continued engagement in the community. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, our wing. Our next speaker is J.R. Fruin. Welcome, J.R.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to thank first and foremost Rod Singh for his 9 years of incredible service to the city of Cupertino. I think that most residents are unaware of the amount of work that you have put in on regional bodies. It really is an incredible service that you've provided. And yeah, I'll echo what a number of other people have said. You've got some really big shoes that someone else is going to have to fill. So thank you so much. And to Mayor Scharf, while we disagree on an incredible range of things and the way that those things should be accomplished, I do want to underscore your support of bike and pedestrian facilities in the city. And I think that we will be in a better place because of the advocacy that both you and Rod have put forward on things like the Red Knot Creek Trail and the Linda Vista Trail. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, JR, and thanks for running.
Thank you, JR. Our next speaker is Rahul Vasanth. Welcome, Rahul.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. Councilmember Sinks, I might not agree with you on certain issues, but I thank you for your 9 years serving on council. I know it's not been easy. Mayor Scharf, thank you for your many years of service on council the years before, and what I'm certain will be continued excellence in the future. You gave what was possibly one of the greatest of state of the city addresses I've ever seen at the Quinlan Center, incorporating teleportation. And I think you might be one of the first to put out such a detailed policy white paper in 2016. You've really brought so much humor, joy, and sincerity and passion to local government. You've traveled all the way to Sacramento to represent us, and with all of the talk about the corrosive effects of money in politics, I sincerely appreciate how you've always put the residents of Cupertino first, not special interest groups. Very few can attest to that. As a tireless advocate for affordable housing, local control, and sensible growth, your voice will be missed. If I had 90 minutes, not 90 seconds, I could possibly go into more detail on all that you've done, from the Cupertino Library to the Lawrence Mitty acquisition. And Stephen, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you, Rahul. Our next speaker is Luke Lang. Welcome, Luke.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I would like to thank Mayor Scharf for his leadership in the past 4 years. More importantly, Mayor Scharf has shown Cupertino residents hope, the hope that common residents' concerns can be organized and elevated to the highest level in our city government. 4 years ago, many of us felt desperate and powerless that our concerns were ignored by the city council. Mayor Scharf showed courage and leadership and successfully ran for a seat on the city council. He paved the way for the current makeup of today's city council and our brighter future. Many of us Cupertino residents are deeply indebted to you. Finally, we will also miss Mayor Scharf's humor on the city council. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Luke. Our next speaker is Julian Lee. Welcome, Julian. You'll need to unmute yourself. Julian Lee, okay. Welcome. So we seem to be having difficulty hearing anything. So I will go back to you if you raise your hand again, but we can't actually hear anything at this point. Our next speaker is Brooke Ezot. Welcome, Brooke.
Sorry, here we go. I'm assuming you can hear me now since I hit the unmute button.
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Well, I'll make this really brief. I just wanted to say Mayor Scharf, how much I appreciate your intelligence, your decency, and your tireless work on the behalf of the residents. If you have one shortcoming, it's that you don't toot your own horn, and I'm hoping I can fix that at some time in the future. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you, Brooke. Our next speaker is Richard Lowenthal. Welcome, Richard.
Thanks very much. Can you hear me? I think that was a yes. So Mayor Scharf, I want to thank you for serving our city as council member and mayor. You've done an excellent job in leading our council for 2 mayoral terms. We especially appreciate your accomplishments on trails, cycling and walking, and we'll certainly benefit from those for years to come. Rod, thank you for serving our city and region for 9 years. We are all currently benefiting from your work on clean energy, clean air, and transportation. You've made important and permanent changes to our city in areas that really matter. We know that's a lot of work, but it has great impact from which I hope you draw immense satisfaction. It's clear that many times you've spoken up for a minority viewpoint on the council. That takes courage, and courage is an admirable quality. Thanks, Rod, for serving.
Thank you, former Mayor Lowenthal.
Thank you, Richard. Our next speaker is Elisa Sakis. Welcome, Elisa.
Good evening. My name's Elisa Sakis. I'm the president of Cupertino Toyokawa Sister Cities Incorporated, and I'm also a Rolling Hills 4-H project leader for the Beekeeping Project. I'd like to give some personal thank yous to the departing council members for their support and service to our community. To Rod Sinks, thank you for your leadership and your long service to our city. I'll always remember the support and encouragement you gave our 4-H youth to propose the change to the city's beekeeping ordinance. And I'll fondly remember that 8-foot standoff distance to the fences was your suggestion. I'd like to thank all the council members and city staff for supporting all of the Sister City programs, but to Stephen Scharf, a special thank you for your attendance while you were mayor, to a special reception held at the Consul General of Japan's residence. And it was fun to travel with you and Kieran to Cupertino to visit our Italian sister city as well, while you were mayor. Same as when Darcy Paul led our delegation to visit our sister city in Toyokawa while he was the sitting mayor. Our sister city relationships are strengthened and benefit from this kind of personal support. Thank you both. I'd also, with my remaining time, like to welcome our new council members, Hung Wei and Kitty Moore. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you for the benefit of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa.
Thank you, Elisa. And our next speaker is Claire Varizia. Welcome, Claire.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Paul and city staff. Claire Varizia, Community Librarian at Cupertino Library. On behalf of Cupertino Library and Santa Clara County Library District, I'd like to thank outgoing council members and mayors, Rod Sinks and Stephen Scharf, for their support of our library during their terms. Council support for additional service hours, outreach services, and our library expansion project has allowed us to expand upon our mission to promote knowledge, ideas, and cultural enrichment in our community. In addition, I would like to thank Mayor Scharf for his time on our Library District's Joint Powers Authority Board. But most importantly, I would like to recognize that both are regular library patrons and readers. I look forward to seeing you both at our library. Please continue to visit and please continue to return your books on time. Congratulations on your years of service and best wishes to you in your upcoming endeavors. I'd also like to extend a welcome to incoming council members Hung Wei and Kitty Moore. Congratulations to you both, and I very much look forward to working with you in your new roles. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, but I thought there's no more fines. We don't have to return our books on time.
That starts in January, Mayor.
Okay.
All right, very good. Thank you, Claire. Our next speaker is Diana Ding. Welcome, Diana.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Powell, and thanks all the city councils. First of all, I would like to thank Rod Singh and for supporting all the community events, and we've been working together on our Cupertino Rotary Club's Fall Festival and also our Food and Art Festival. And also I want to thank Mayor Stephen Scharf for supporting our Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs Festival and also some of the events we hosted, like, for example, the Civic Leadership Forum. And I also want to take this opportunity to welcome Councilmember Han Wei, a great community leader. So I'm so happy and so glad that Han was elected. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you and to serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diana. Our next speaker is Captain Rich Urina. Welcome, Captain Urina.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Paul and members of the City Council. My name is Captain Rich Urina with the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office. On behalf of Sheriff Smith and all the men and women of the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office, we would like to thank both Councilmember Singh and Mayor Scharf for their leadership and guidance all these many years. We all truly appreciate your support with our public safety efforts in the city. We wish both of you well, and we thank you for allowing us to serve the residents of Cupertino.
Thank you, Captain. Our next speaker is Larry Dean. Welcome, Larry.
Good evening, Mayor Scharf and fellow council. I'm Larry Dean, and I'm here on behalf of Walk by Cupertino. I would like to thank Councilman Singh for his 9 years as mayor. You've always had the best interests of the city at your heart, whether it's traffic congestion, Highway 85, or getting more money out of VTA for our projects. You also deserve kudos for constructively adapting and working with the new council since 2018. Mayor Scharf, we thank you for your 4 years as council and mayor to Cupertino. When most needed, you've demonstrated steady leadership over the past 2 years, particularly in this age of COVID. To you both, your leadership with Cupertino's bike ped efforts have been exemplary. The several thousand members of Walk by Cupertino and the broader community are so indebted to your leadership and support for safe cycling. Your unabashed support for cycling has yielded incredible results, leaving a strong legacy of making the city and community stronger. For example, from the Mitty Barnhart Parks west of the City Hall to the library, out to McClellan Ranch and Blackberry Farms, you've shepherded the process to connect schools, parks, businesses, and residents. Much has been accomplished under your leadership while much remains to be done. That said, you have much to be proud of, and this community thanks you. And best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you, Larry. Our next speaker is Dinessa Takmanski. Welcome, Dinessa.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay. Hi. Thank you, Darcy. I wanted to say thank you so much, Mayor Scharf. I'm really going to miss you. You really made me proud of you. I know Mayor Scharf from outside of city meetings for all his work on housing issues and his concerns about the housing bills and getting appropriate housing for median, lower median, and lower income people. I was always pretty upset about people that made insinuations that Mayor Scharf was anti-housing, and I know him to be nothing but the opposite. He really put his love and his heart into finding solutions for housing and protecting not just Cupertino, but California residents. And I really thank you for that. I thank you for being so real, for your great sense of humor, for always getting back on things, and just being a really stand-up guy. Thank you so much, Steve. And I hope you stick around and stay involved, please. We really need you. So thank you.
Thanks, Dinessa.
Thank you, Dinessa. Our next speaker is Kiran Varshnaya. Welcome, Kiran.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul, for the opportunity. My name is Kiran Varshnaya. I am on the board of Cupertino Library Foundation. But today I am speaking and want to give a personal thank you as an advocate of the Cupertino Library. So thank you very much, Mayor Scharf and Councilmember Rod Singh, for your support all this in this period for Cupertino Library, and especially for your support for the Library Extension Program, for which we are very excited. I also want to take the opportunity to give a warm welcome to Hang Wei and Katie Moore. Also want to thank you for sending in your responses, as was requested by Library Foundation, on your support for the Cupertino Library and the programs that the library is trying to bring. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Our next speaker is Julian Lee. Welcome back, Julian Lee. And there may be some technical difficulties because we still can't hear you.
Looks like she needs to unmute.
She is unmuted, but Julian, if you'll try to unmute yourself. Can you hear us? Okay, unfortunately we can't. Oh, are you able to speak, Julian Lee?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Welcome. This could be a matter of reception issues. All right, unfortunately, we can't hear anything, and so I'll go on to the next speaker, Anjali Kauser. Welcome, Anjali.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can. Anjali.
Okay, now
Yes,
there,
we can hear you.
it muted me again. So I think you can hear me now. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. I just wanted to take this opportunity and thank the two outgoing council members, Mayor Scharf. Thank you for your support and your 2 years mayorship for the city and working with the local businesses and the Chamber of Commerce, and former Mayor Singh and Councilmember Rod. Thank you for your service to the city of Cupertino and also working well with our city businesses and supporting our long-term relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. Wish you both well, and hopefully you both will stay involved with the city and continue your service. And we'll take a quick half a second and congratulate the two new incoming council members, Hang Wei and Kitty Moore. We look forward to working with you at the Chamber and seeing how we can enhance and work closely to do better business for us, small businesses and large businesses in the city of Cupertino. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you, Anjali. Our next speaker and the last speaker that I have here is Shani Kleinhouse. Welcome, Shani.
Good evening.
Evening.
Vice Mayor Paul, and this is Shani Kleinhouse from Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society. We are residents of the city at McClellan Farm, and I'm here to thank both Mayor Scharf and Councilmember Singh for paying attention not only to the big existential issues that we're facing these days, but also the birds of Cupertino. The Parks Master Plan is a masterpiece, and I can say that because I see a lot of them in other cities as well. And really thank you for your attention to all the spectrum of issues in the city. Thanks.
Thank you, Shani. So we do have two more speakers. I'm going to close it out after these two speakers. We have Julian Lee trying to get in again, and Chitra S. All right, welcome, Julian. Unfortunately, we still can't hear you. And so I think there must be some technical issue. I hear background. Okay, so I'm going to go to Chitra S. And Chitra will be our last speaker. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, council members. I want to thank Mayor Stephen Scharf for his service to Cupertino residents. I remember meeting you in 2005, holding up a stop sign outside Eaton Elementary School and posting pictures of errant parents in your website, hallofshame.com. I remember that. And you have been a great community leader, and your commitment, your wonderful wit, and your tireless dedication will be greatly missed. I hope you stay involved in city matters because we need your leadership. Thank you. Thank you for your service to Cupertino City. Thanks.
Wow, thank you. I didn't know anyone remembered the stop sign.
Thank you, Chitra. All right, at this point, we'll be proceeding in the agenda. We have the recognition of our outgoing council member, Rod Sinks. And at this point, if the city channel would please show a video of Councilmember Sinks.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States,
to the Constitution of the United States, Hi, I'm Rod Sinks. It's been a busy first term serving you on the Cupertino City Council. The city is on solid financial ground. What's the answer to life, the universe, and everything, including the number of items per capita borrowed from the Cupertino Library last year? Who has an answer? Come on. 40 what? 42, thank you, that's correct. Thank you for joining us to preview the city's first municipal solar project, installed at a site with a deep green history. At this point, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to thank you all for contributing to the life of our city and making Cupertino such a special place. Hi everybody, my name is Rod Sinks. This is our third Periscope session. Cupertino! This is Rod Sinks reporting live for KCRN from Cupertino City Hall. Whoopee!
Excellent, thank you very much. Very moving video. We'll move on. At this point, there are a number of proclamations that were provided by speakers that have been here previously this evening. I'll share those with everyone. And let me get to that. Okay. So this is a proclamation from Congressman Ro Khanna to Councilmember Sinks. And we have a proclamation, a certificate of recognition from Assemblymember Evan Lowe, as well as a commendation from the entirety of the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors. So congratulations for that. At this point, I will ask if any of my fellow council members would like to bid a farewell to Rod. And I will go in order of a seniority and alphabetical order. And so Mayor Scharf, would you like to lead with some comments?
Oh, thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. So Rod, I know we've disagreed on many issues in the past, but I really thank you for your service on Bay Area Air Quality Management District and on Silicon Valley Clean Energy. And and your efforts with VTA for us to get our Measure B funding for Highway 85. So appreciate your 9 years of service and hope to keep in touch in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scharf. Councilmember Chow, would you like to say a few words?
Hi. Hi, Rod. I'd like to thank you for your leadership in clean energy, environmental, VTA, and the cities association. However, it's regrettable, though, that you have not used your contact to connect other junior council members to these regional groups so that Cupertino as a city can continue the leadership role in these areas. I do hope that, Rod, you will continue to help Cupertino as a city after your tenure on the council to maintain our leadership in clean energy, environmental, and transportation issues. Unlike the vast majority of other former city council members who seem to never cared about Cupertino at all before they got elected to the council, and never even cared about Cupertino after their tenure as council members, except when coming to advocate for mega developments. Rod, I'm looking forward to your continued engagement as citizens for the betterment of our beloved Cupertino. Thank you. And for Stephen. Stephen is someone who truly cares about Cupertino. He has been attending city council meetings for more than 10 years.
Councilmember Chow, you'll have an opportunity under Stephen's farewell
okay.
to say a few words. Okay. Now, Councilmember Willie, would you like to say a few words of farewell to Councilmember Sinks?
Yes, I would. I mean, Councilman Sinks, thank you for 9 years. There's only a few of us that know how much time goes into being on the city council. All the preparation, all the meetings, and going above and beyond just the local community, all the regional groups that you're our representative for, VTA, VTC. So your sacrifices, your commitment, your carrying our community's message has been greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. 9 years. I hope we'll continue to cross paths in the future. Thank you.
Okay, well, I guess that leaves me. So Rod, I want to say good luck with your post-council endeavors. There were times that I'm sure we both went back after meetings and called each other names, and maybe some of those names were even the same ones. In any event, I hope that 9 years was enough for you. We both know that you leave council in capable and dedicated hands, irrespective of how the various propaganda goes. I appreciated the fact that you were highly committed to your role as a council member and that you did the best job that you could. Your ability to send out a message taken up by empowered interests is a good one. Although I will say that I think you will agree, given your support for the Black Lives Matter movement, that that is something not everyone enjoys the privilege of having. I hope that you expand on this beginning of a commitment to equity in the future. And thank you for your contributions to our community over the years. Okay, so at this point, Councilmember Sinks, if you would like to say a few farewell words, we won't put you on a timer, but if we can roughly keep it to about 3 minutes, it'd be much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm grateful for all the accolades this evening. Appreciated all the public comment and the kind words. John, you sent an email to me yesterday, which I most appreciated. Very thoughtful, and I do intend to stay in touch and advocate as I can. You know, during my 9 years, we've been busy placemaking in Cupertino. We did our allotment of our housing allocation in 2014, and we entitled developments, including Main Street, Cupertino, Apple Park, and yes, one way or the other, Valco. We also created the 2016 bike plan. That was really, I think, really expansive. It was a great plan, and we've now made substantial progress on its implementation. And Stephen, thank you for your kind words. I think I'm going to be demoted after this, so I just wanted to say thank you, Stephen. I think that's an area where we've both been the strongest advocates on council to make progress on active transportation. And I so appreciate your efforts. I got to serve on the Cities Association board, representing Cupertino as one of the 15 cities on the county from the time I was elected until early this year. And I got to be president in 2018. So many of our problems are regional. And when we take regional action, we're better off. So, you know, one of our initiatives was a study that was followed by action in many of our cities, including ours, to establish a regional minimum wage in 2016. Then on transportation, yes, I collaborated with council members in the North County and West Valley cities, and we stood together and successfully negotiated funds out of Measure B in 2016, specifically for funding improvements to Speed Caltrain with grade separations in 3 cities to the north. It's the one vital transportation link that Cupertino residents and workers count on, and to create new transit in the 85 corridor. And so I've gotten to serve on the 85 Policy Advisory Board since it was formed in 2016. And yeah, the city of Cupertino, along with Mountain View and Sunnyvale, did the formative work, a study, and then the establishment of Silicon Valley Clean Energy. Now we have 12 cities in total, plus the county as members. And since our inception, a little less than 4 years ago, we've been supplying carbon-free energy at less cost than PG&E. And we've invested over $1 billion in new clean generation. So we're really moving the needle on climate. And we've invested about $6 million in programs. Last year, we helped our member cities, including Cupertino, establish REACH codes, which will electrify new buildings. So 20, 30 years from now, we can expect that the bulk of our building stock will be running clean electricity rather than natural gas. And I served as representative of the Cities Association. So that's the association of the 15 cities of the county for the past 6 years. And this year I have the privilege of serving as chair of that board. And we've made a lot of progress with new regulations that are more protective of human health, reducing toxins and particulate matter. We've looked at new technology to create hyperlocal maps of pollution sources. And we've doled out a lot of incentives, around $100 million a year, to move the needle on air quality and climate change, including some funding for that bike plan that we talked about earlier. And we've just announced finalization of a consent decree that we've done with US EPA that will reduce contensable particulate matter from the Lehigh cement kiln when it resumes operation. It's currently down. So it's been a real honor to serve. And I'd just like to give a shout out to our excellent city staff that have made my work possible. I'm grateful to the whole professional team at the city and its able leadership. You know, the challenges of housing and transportation are persistent. They require long-term efforts, and they remain. And I hope the new council steps up earnestly to really tackle them. It'll take sustained effort over years to do so, but there's, at the end of the day, probably nothing more important that a city council has on its plate to do here at this time and in this place. So thank you all so much for your kind words, and call me if I can do anything for you.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you. Adios.
Adios. All right, so at this point, we are going to conduct a recognition of our outgoing council member and 2-year mayor, Stephen Scharf. if the city channel would please show the video of Stephen.
Okay, so it's 5:31, so let's get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City Council meeting of Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. Welcome, everybody, to the April 21st, 2020 meeting of the Cupertino City Council. As you can see, we're conducting this via Zoom teleconference. Happy holidays, everybody. I have about 2 hours worth of remarks here. Okay, anything else? And Deb, what time did you predict this meeting would end? Anything else? Great. All right, so if there's nothing else, I guess we can adjourn. I don't have my gavel, but okay, thank you all. Can't hear you, Darcy.
Thank you, Steve. I've watched you make the mute issue, and I'm a work in progress myself there. So Mayor Scharf was recognized by our local elected officials representing Cupertino, including our Congressperson Ro Khanna, who issued him a certificate of special congressional recognition. Assembly member Evan Lowe, who issued a certificate of recognition. And the entirety of the County of Santa Clara Board of Supervisors, who issued Mayor Scharf a commendation for his service. So thank you very much for your service. We all echo that sentiment. At this point, I would like to give my fellow council members an opportunity.
Oh, excuse me, you did miss one of the items in the script.
Oh, did I? Oh, let me go.
The second dot.
The second dot. I make mention of, so what we've done there is as the outgoing token of gratitude to our mayors, and this is especially appropriate given the fact that you've taken up the mantle 2 years in a row, which is in the entirety of our 7-decade or so history, only the second time that has ever happened. And so we, as a city, did prepare a gift to you, which I believe you can show. Oh, so you have a gavel. Very nice.
Yes.
It's being a little bit obscured by the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, I have to hold it still. There it goes. Okay. All right, that's enough. Okay.
Okay, and so at this point, I will, again, by order of seniority, with Councilmember Singh having said his few words and bid you his goodbye as a colleague and a council member, go to Councilmember Chow, if you care to say a few words to Mayor Scharf as he as he leaves our city council. And actually, I get to do this now. Okay, very good. Leon.
Hi. Hi, Stephen. You are someone who truly cares about Cupertino. I know you have been attending city council meetings way more than 10 years before you were even elected to the city council in 2016. I'm sure that I won't miss you after tonight, since you will continue to attend the council meetings and provide much needed citizen inputs to us and maybe shout at us. And back in 2016, when Cupertino City Council was controlled by a majority of council members who ignored the resident inputs over and over again, out of all odds, you were elected as the first-time candidate to the council with the second highest vote, even though you had no campaign manager, no campaign mailer plan, and only a few $1,000s for one tiny mailer which arrived 2 days before the election day. But all you had were a passion for Cupertino and a group of volunteers with similar passion, and that was enough to get you elected. What impressed me the most is your detailed policy statements in both the 2016 campaign site and 2020 campaign site. You took the time to research, wrote down your positions on numerous issues. Unfortunately, many voters probably never had the time to visit this treasure trove of a website. Cupertino has been a target of negative media campaigns with false information due to for-profit special interest groups trying to push their narratives. When I first got elected, there were state legislators and other area leaders pointing me to my nose that Cupertino has not approved a single unit of housing, they said. Well, the fact is that Cupertino has approved 5 housing projects on all 5 housing element sites with little opposition, except one project which replaces a shopping center with a mega office park. And Stephen, you had the leadership to try and correct these false narratives about Cupertino. Time and again, you stressed that this is not a housing crisis, but an affordable housing crisis. And you worked hard to support affordable housing. You were proud of the Veranda, which was a 100% affordable senior housing project. And you were very supportive of the Westport project with middle-income housing, senior housing, and the low-income housing. And you were also enthusiastically working on another senior housing low-income project on Mary Avenue. While on the council, Stephen, you have taken leadership not only in Legislative Review Committee, but also in drafting many letters to provide solid data and strong arguments to advocate for Cupertino residents and to clarify the misconception about Cupertino spread by ill-meaning parties. Although Stephen and I disagree on certain issues, and he is sometimes impatient, I respect him highly for his knowledge and his courage to stand up for Cupertino residents. I'm looking forward to see more of Stephen in city council chambers, in other community meetings, to continue what he has been doing for the past 15-20 years, keeping city council accountable for a better Cupertino. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chow. Councilmember Willie, would you like to say a few words of farewell to Mayor Scharf?
Of course. It's actually a little bit sad, you know, to still be on the council without our leader. Well, being on the city council, it's a lot of work and we don't have a lot of time to be jovial, but that hasn't stopped Steve. His humor that he brings to the council, whether it's him talking about his 45-minute speech, or tonight he actually upped it to a 2-hour presentation, that he's been looking for an audience to hear. And so far we haven't provided that audience, but we enjoy that humor. His jokes about Saratoga and all their Teslas, and that it hasn't quite reached a price point for us in Cupertino yet. But the more important aspect, though, is that for the 2 years I've been on the council now, Steve has been our leader, and I characterize that as the bow of the ship, that we need a strong leader. We need someone that will allow us to come along with him with our ideas and be successful in representing the residents in the community. And his ideas and his important points, bike projects, housing projects, they all help us to understand the importance of the different items to our community, and that's what we're here for. Steve, your focus on the community has just been amazing, and I can only hope that I'll try and fit into those shoes at least part way. So thank you so much. It hasn't been easy with 4 other councilmen with different perspectives, different thoughts, different ideas, and you having to try and bring them all together at the city council meeting and the agendas that you bring to us to work on. And I can only say that your actions have actually made a souffle out of a bunch of random ingredients. And so I'd say that as you take off your mayor's cloak, I say you're entitled to put on a chef's hat and continue to make souffles with comes in front of you. Thank you so much, Steve. You will be missed.
Thank you, John.
Okay, well, I'll go. Steve, I want you to know that in my view, you have some of the most basic integrity of anyone that I have ever interacted with in politics. And to be really honest about it, it hasn't always very much adhered to your advantage politically, but I know that it has benefited the community locally and at large. The year 2020, no doubt, will go down in long-term history as the year that the world was impacted by COVID. And, you know, as a collaborative effort, we on council were able to elevate awareness very early on about PPE. I have a cousin locally who's a doctor, and she called me, you know, early on in this pandemic and told me how PPE was so very important when people weren't paying attention to it. And so that got me going very early on. But just right at the same time, you were the county's, I would say, the first politically elected advocate of having really stringent mask requirements in our cities. And, you know, it's things like that get completely overlooked. It gets completely overlooked by the public, by the media, even by, you know, members in our own city. And I think that that's largely the kind of method that you brought to the table. You are not static in your perspectives, and I think that was very much missed in the larger battle, which really did and does not need to be a battle. But I hope that when you return to the conversation, and I know you will return to the conversation, you have the opportunity to convey that willingness to have a rational conversation with everyone. As in everything, this is an ongoing process for all involved. And I reiterate my hope that you please stay involved. And thank you for taking on the role of mayor for 2 consecutive years again. I hope that you continue to serve the community in Cupertino with your dedication and commitment to honest solutions. What I consider really keen sense of humor is perhaps an acquired taste for some. But at the same time, What always struck me was your ability to be unflappable in the face of overwhelming attacks backed by vast amounts of special interest dollars. And I'll tell you, it's not just a matter of flyers and things that are very overt, even media, or in these days, things that are questionably media. It affects you in all sorts of ways that you can only describe as unexpected and deeply inequitable. But I wish that you were here longer so that we could have intelligent and honest policy conversations regarding deeply pressing and important issues like free speech, those special interest dollars, and how we can continue to keep striving for a more perfect balance in an open and democratic system. But finally, thank you for helping make sure that we continue to build the land of opportunity rather than the land of opportunists. I wish you very good luck.
Hey, thank you, Darcy.
You're welcome. All right, at this time, I would like to ask Mayor Scharf if he would like to say a few farewell words to the community.
Of course. Never give a politician a microphone. So it's been an honor to serve on City Council for the past 4 years and as mayor for the past 2 years. I've received a number of emails in the past 2 days and phone calls requesting pardons, but I don't believe that granting pardons is appropriate. So you'll still have to pay your parking tickets. And one person asked me to forgive his library fines. I can't do that. But as Clara said, in January, there won't be any more. So in the past 4 years, Cupertino, we've made significant progress on a number of important issues. We funded the library expansion and construction will begin soon. The purchase of Lawrence Mitty property was completed, and that was thanks in large part to the tenacity of Vice Mayor Paul. We established our Legislative Review Committee, and that was a great committee. We helped to defeat anti-affordable housing and anti-environmental bills in the legislature for 3 consecutive years. SB 827, SB 50, SB 902, SB 1120 all went down to defeat. We've made progress on building bicycle infrastructure. We established the Via Shuttle. We overturned a previous council's approval of the Tier 2 Valco project, thanks to an incredible grassroots effort by residents. We opened the Veranda, a 100% affordable senior housing complex. We approved the Westport project, a much better project than the property owner originally proposed. As Darcy mentioned, we were the first city in Santa Clara County to act in terms of a face covering requirement. And while 6 other Bay Area counties did act before us, for some reason Santa Clara County was hesitant. So Cupertino was first, then Milpitas, and then other cities followed the lead, and it's paid off. We have the lowest per capita infection rate of COVID of any city in the county in Cupertino. Even with similar cities to us like Saratoga, we're about half of their rate. So I think, you can't say our early face covering was completely responsible for that, but I'm sure it did play a part. We approved the funding of the Regnart Creek Trail. That was one of my big priorities, and that's a critical link in our bike ped infrastructure. We achieved and received the highest possible accolade for our accomplishments in sustainability. And of course, there's been disappointments. Darcy and I, we tried to establish objective standards on the Valco property prior to SB 35 taking effect. And unfortunately, we were the only 2. The other 3 council members were not willing to act in the best interest of the city, and the resulting loss of Valco Shopping Mall, which had been well on its way to revitalization, resulted. 4 out of 5 of our housing projects that we approved in our housing element, all approved, all with an affordable housing component. They have not broken ground yet. We only have the Veranda. And the long-term changes caused by COVID will further impact these projects. So while I'm leaving the council, some of the tasks facing the new council will be creating the new certified housing element for the 2023-2031 RENA cycle, addressing the inequity in property tax revenue that Cupertino receives from the county, assisting Cupertino Union School District by promoting a per square foot parcel tax that is likely to be placed on the ballot in 2021, continuing to support state legislation that expands equity and inclusion, and continuing to oppose state bills that worsen the affordable housing crisis and that weaken CEQA. Working with nonprofits to build extremely low-income housing for the developmentally disabled, which Councilmember Chow mentioned, and working with the League of California Cities, the California Alliance of Local Electeds, to advocate for affordable housing and local control and to oppose displacement and gentrification. And I love what Darcy proposed a few meetings ago, creating some kind of lobbyist registration, because as we've seen in Cupertino, we have not been exempt from the efforts of some of these AstroTurf groups to attack our city. I'd like to thank the city staff for all the support they provided to me in the past 4 years, and a special thank you to Vice Mayor Paul for all of his assistance during my 2 terms as mayor. And I would just say, having a knowledgeable and experienced attorney on city council is just a huge asset to our city. We just couldn't get along without you. So if you want to get rid of term limits and serve 4 more terms, I'd be in favor of that. And thank you to all the members of our awesome commissions. One thing the mayor does every month is have a meeting with the commissioners, and each month a different commissioner from each commission attends. And we're amazingly fortunate to have so many volunteers for our commissions and dedicated volunteers for our city. So I encourage people to apply for commissions. The application process is open now, and please apply. And I look forward to continuing to serve Cupertino in the future in some capacity. So thank you, everyone. And it's been a great time as mayor, and good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scharf. We will now move your video presence to the attendee group. Thank you for your service to our city. Now we have the pleasure and privilege of going to item number 3 on our agenda. That is the oath of office for new council members. As with all of our agenda items, there is an opportunity for public comments, and we will take the consolidated public comments with regard to Councilmember-elect Moore and or Councilmember-elect Way at this point. And so if you do have comments with regard to their respective swearing-ins, please raise your hand at this point. I will start the public comment with Muni Madapatla. Welcome, Muni.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy. Dear Councilmember Kitty Moore, I would like to congratulate you on winning the election and thank you for stepping to serve our community. I'm looking forward to your wonderful contributions and leadership to our community. Thank you for running a clean campaign based on issues and substance instead of platitudes and empty promises. Even though you were unfairly attacked on social media with the whisper campaigns by ex-politicians, you refused to get into the mud pit with pigs. You knew better. Given what I observed of your contributions on Planning Commission, I'm confident that you will serve the community with unwavering commitment to residents. I was there with you in 2016 at Stevens Creek and Wolf Junction when the Valco thugs tried to bully us and towed your car, even though you legally parked in front of the fitness center. The best quality I like about you and your fellow council member Liang Chow is your refusal to surrender against bullies. Your courage to tackle difficult issues on the stage without acting like crybabies is admirable. Please keep up that quality, as I want young girls like my daughter to learn from you as to how to face adversity and stand up against bullies. I feel confident that our city is in good hands with the resident-focused majority of Darcy Paul, Liang Chow, John Willie, and you. We are lucky to have you to lead our city. I don't think many cities can say that. Thank you and good luck in your work.
Thank you, Mooney. Our next speaker, we're very privileged and honored to still have him with us, Supervisor Joe Simidian of our County Board of Supervisors. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul, and my congratulations and welcome to both new members. Ms. Moore, I look forward to working with you. Excuse me, Councilmember Moore, I look forward to working with you. And Hung Wei, who was kind enough to invite me tonight, I want to congratulate you as well as Ms. Moore. I had the pleasure and privilege of working with Hung when she was a local school board member, and I was serving in the state Senate on the Education Committee at the time. And we had many, many very good and deep conversations about the education challenges facing our region and our state. I found her always to be thoughtful, well-motivated, genuinely concerned about kids and families throughout the entire community. So I am looking forward to working with her now in this new role and in a different role as well for myself. And I will say, and I mean no disrespect to any of the council members, I'm not sure Hung remembers when I told her this years and years ago, once you've been on a local school board, any other form of elected office looks easy because when you are responsible for the thing a community values most, which is its children, when you have had to hear from 200 concerned parents and community members, you've been in the crucible. And so I am very optimistic that no matter how great the challenges in the years ahead, Hung will not only weather them, but contribute in ways that are really meaningful to the community. And again, both to Councilmember Moore and to Councilmember Hung Wei, welcome to you both. Look forward to working with you in my office as your representative on the Board of Supervisors. Take care. Be well.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Our next speaker is R. Wang. Welcome. Welcome, R. Wang.
Hey, wonderful. I just want to say congratulations, Hung, on your election. You know, the residents are looking forward to seeing where your positions are and what that means going forward. And congratulations on that victory. To Kitty. Kitty has been the Erin Brockovich of Silicon Valley. I've said this in the past. Her relentless advocacy of pro-resident issues has kept our community safe from outside corporate interests, lobbyists, and radicals. She's fought hard for the environment, affordable housing, and public safety. And just watching her work as chair of the Planning Commission has been amazing, to the level of detail and understanding of not only the implications of planning decisions on residents and businesses, but also on the quality of life. I'm really looking forward to working with you in your new capacity, and congratulations again.
Thank you, R. Wang. Our next speaker is Jennifer Griffin. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Mayor Darcy. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Darcy, which you may be mayor now. Hi, I'm Jennifer Griffin, and I am so pleased that Kitty has been elected to the City Council. She is one of the most amazing people that I have ever met in my life, and she has everything to become the first woman president, and I expect great things of her. She has very high moral standards. She is very sensitive. She listens. She prepares diligently for everything that she undertakes, and I am just so happy that she's been elected. I think we are going to have wonderful 4 years. I hope that she goes 8 years and then goes to the governorship and then becomes president. Seriously, I do. Congratulations, Kitty. Good luck. We're here rooting for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Our next speaker is Henry Sang. Welcome, Henry.
Thank you. My name is Henry Sang, and I'm a resident of 33 years, and I'm speaking as a private citizen. I've known Hung for over 25 years. She showed up at my doorstep one dark night with a shoebox full of script gift certificates from Lincoln Elementary. My wife later told me she runs that program and delivers script after she puts her kiddies to bed. You know, she kept selling script for Lincoln even after her kids graduated. My nephew was an active member of the Verdadera news group letters she founded and ran, where every Sunday she would bring in dozens of teens into her house to deal with issues of teenage strife and uncertainty. She helped them give a voice. Where many of us threw up our hands in frustrations with dealing with teens, she stepped in and lifted a heavy load. Many of us offer her a lot of gratitude for what she did. My point being is that Hung is a consummate doer. She works with all parties rather than solely pushing an agenda. She listens, learns, and adapts, and she's the opposite of intransigent. She's humble, fair, and a very kind person, but have no doubt, I believe she will make decisions, even very hard decisions. Today, we live in a very disturbing and socially fractured time. Polarization divides us like we're having a second civil war. It's not just our nation, but also here in Cupertino. We need to learn how to work together again. So please, all of us, share your time and energy to discuss things with Hong. I think she will be a very important bridge. And to you, Hong, I still question your sanity for taking on such a big job. I never question your willingness to sacrifice or your intention. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Eric Schaefer. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Councilmember Moore, I am very happy, and I believe that the residents of our town are very fortunate that you are elevating your public service to this new level. Serving on the city council is a tough job. You can't make everybody happy all the time. Council members must make difficult decisions. I believe that you are exceptionally qualified to do that. You have a broad and in some cases very deep knowledge of the technical and legal issues that underpin council decisions. You are an intelligent problem solver who uses data to arrive at rational decisions. A few others might claim as much, but you are unique because you combine these qualities with a moral compass. You have made the difficult decisions on the Planning Commission, and you rose to become the chair. You have been tested on the streets by counter demonstrators and by hired out-of-town troublemakers who harassed you, but you were not intimidated. You have been tested by the financial power and legal army of the Valco developer, but you did not give up. In your new role as council member, I am confident that you will remain a fearless champion of your constituents. I thank you for making this a great day for Cupertino.
So thank you very much, Eric. Our next speaker is Gilbert Wong. Welcome, Gilbert.
Thank you, Darcy. I really appreciate it. I want to say congratulations to Kitty Moore on her election to the City Council, Chair of the Planning Commission. But most important, I want to say thank you to my dear friend Hung Wei for stepping up to the plate to run for Cupertino City Council. You have been many years of experience, your integrity to the community. It's just very disappointing to see so many statements that were made against you during the election, but that is part of being a council member and a public elected official. I want to say an early congratulations to Darcy Paul, my friend, as the incoming mayor, as well as the incoming vice mayor, Liang Fang Chow. I believe that this will be a great team that will lead the city council into the future. I also want to say congratulations on the service of Rod Sinks and Mayor Scharf. This is, you get to enter the former mayor's club. Most important, I want to leave with 2 points. Number one, I'm so proud of the city of Cupertino to show the leadership as we celebrate 100 years of suffrage, to see 3 women, a majority we haven't seen in a long time. I think maybe this is the first to see 3 women not only serve on the city council, but if you look at our current administration, to have a city manager and a city attorney who are both women. I hope one day to see all 5 women on city council and all 5 there. But lastly, I want to leave that it's very important as a former Cupertino mayor to say that we have to treat everybody with fairness. This is not about appointing commissioners or people who are on team A or team B. It's not about criticizing people who are pro-Valco or anti-Valco. Residents of Cupertino expect more from their council members. This is not about pointing who is wrong or who is right. So let's get back to a job of governance. Let's get off of pointing fingers at everyone, and let's point of making what Cupertino is great, and that is the residents of Cupertino. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gilbert. Our next speaker is Lisa Warren. Welcome, Lisa.
Okay, there I am. Thank you. And Eric Schaefer is a tough act to follow. I agree with everything he said, and I could not have said it that well. So Congratulations, Hung, on your election, and thank you for spending a little time talking to a few residents a week or two ago. It was appreciated that you agreed to meet with us in Zoom. And Kitty. So I'm sharing my thoughts here as a resident, a neighbor, a volunteer, and an advocate. I am one of many residents who has been in the trenches in this community for decades. I'm not a policymaker or a politician. I'm extremely pleased to see Kitty Moore be sworn in as 2020 City Council member. It is a great end to a generally very bad year. Kitty ran her campaign in a way that would have found me voting for her even if I didn't know her. But I do know Kitty Moore, and I know some of her work and her passions. Lucky us, she is passionate about our collective community, and she works incredibly hard to support what she sees as best for our city and its residents. Councilmember Moore has qualities and talents that make her extremely well suited to take her seat on that dais. Watching her and listening to her in her role as Planning Commission Chair illustrates that. Kitty is a civil engineer with land development background. She's well-rounded with hobbies and activities that she is passionate about. She also has a very supportive family, which is an added bonus. So thanks to John and the boys.
Okay, thank you very much, Lisa. Our next speaker is Lori Cunningham. Welcome, Lori.
There we go. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lori Cunningham, and I'm a trustee and the current board president for Cupertino Union. As an advocate for families and children in our community, it's my honor to be here tonight in my personal capacity to welcome incoming City Council members Hung Wei and Kitty Moore. Welcome to you both, and thank you so much for the leadership and dedication you bring to your new roles. On a personal note, when Hung asked me to join tonight, it was an easy yes. It speaks volumes of Hung's public service legacy and all that she has already given of herself to this community, that she brings with her a deep relationship with every school board member of the 3 local school districts as she comes into her new role. For years, Hung has been known amongst local board members for her mentorship. And I want to share Hung's welcome for many of us as newly elected trustees with you, because I truly believe it is one of the most powerful core ideas she brings as she joins the leadership of the city. For many of us, as we've been grounded from day one in Hung's take on what it means to be honorable. In Hung's words, that the title of honorable will last for the rest of your life, that it is more than a title, it is a calling. It means that you are to be honorable in your words and honorable in your actions and honorable in your decisions as you govern. It is the epitome of everything that we know about Hung Wei as she served as a governing board member for FUHSD for 11 years. And as all of us board members know of her, she will be grounded in that same honor as she helps to lead this city. Thank you to both Hung and Kitty for stepping up and for your wisdom and partnership and leadership in the years to come. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Lori. Our next speaker is Jeff Moe. Welcome, Jeff.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Hung, I am very happy for our city to have the benefit of your service. And, being a local business owner, a resident of Cupertino, and also being president of the Fremont Union High School Board, I had the privilege and honor to work with you for 6 years. And I believe what made you successful on the high school board is also what's going to make you successful on our city council. And that includes how you listen to everyone, whether you agreed or disagreed with them. And you not only listened with your ears, but especially you listened with your heart. You were a wonderful team player, and you valued everyone's contribution, including your fellow board members, including staff, and including the community. And again, congratulations, Hung. And I'd also like to say congratulations to Councilmember Kitty Moore.
Thank you, Jeff. Our next speaker is Sudha Kazim Sethi. Welcome, Sudha. Suda, are you there? Well, could be another technical difficulty here. So we will go on to the next speaker. Suda, if you can hear me and you resolve your technical difficulty, we'll call you up if you raise your hand again. Our next speaker is Peggy Griffin. Welcome, Peggy.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. Congratulations to both Kitty Moore and Hung Wei on your election to City Council. I would like to thank Councilmember Moore for your service on the Planning Commission, your work as Planning Commission Chair, and welcome you to the City Council. As we've seen during your tenure on the Planning Commission, you have always come to meetings thoroughly prepared, always listening, and you are intent on understanding and following our laws. During this election, you would remove your own campaign signs if you found them to be incorrectly placed. That's Kitty. That speaks to your integrity, honesty, and fairness. Your ability to look at a problem, do in-depth research, look at it differently, look at new and different designs or approaches, and see what can be done is an asset to our City Council and our community. It's never business as usual. You make the effort to improve, clarify, standardize, and if need be, instigate change for the better. Your priorities and sound judgment, coupled with your love of our environment, fiscal responsibility, and respect for everyone in our community, will help make balanced decisions at a time when there is so much need. Welcome to our City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Our next speaker is Rena Rao. Welcome, Rena.
Thank you, Darcy. It says Rena Rao, but it's Rena and Mahesh. Yeah, I just registered. So Mahesh will go ahead and say something.
Again, thanks again, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Again, good evening to you all. This is again Rena and Mahesh here. And I'm speaking on behalf of the Cupertino Bhubaneswar sister city. Just want to let you know, I've been associated with the city for over 15 years and I work at Cupertino. Now, the candidate lunches are over, the campaign workers have gone home, and the yard signs are heading to the recycling bin. Now the reality is you all have to work together for public service to bring the communities together. And this juncture, I would like to congratulate Hung Wei and Kitty Moore, who have worked with and met with many times. And of course, I had the opportunity to work with Hung Wei in many community projects. I'm really excited, actually, both of you there, and especially Hung Wei, who I know for a long time now. And I'm looking forward to working with you both and any interesting community-related projects, definitely, especially the Cupertino Bhubaneswar sister city. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mahesh and Rena. Our next speaker is Sashi Bagur. Welcome, Sashi.
Here we go. I guess you can hear me because I pressed the unmute button. Okay. Hi, my name is Sashi Begor. First, I'd like to start off by congratulating both Hung Wei and Kitty Moore. Congratulations on your wonderful win. I've been a resident in Cupertino since '96, and although Kitty and I have both lived in Cupertino since the '90s, I only met her in 2016, and I got to know her a little bit better in 2018, and then saw her on the Planning Commission. So when I heard she registered as a candidate, I started canvassing for her right away. I'm a complete fan, obviously. So of course, I was not the only one who got on the Kitty for Cupertino bandwagon. I believe everyone who met her during this election cycle have voted for her. So your hard work and your sacrifice have paid off, Kitty. The Cupertino residents are very lucky to have you on the City Council. It's wonderful that you're there. And as a resident, I believe we need regular people on the council, people who got there because of what they know and what they can do for the community, not who they know. So with that, I say congratulations again to you, Kitty, and as well, Hung Wei. And I look forward to seeing you and the council approving quality developments in Cupertino.
Thank you, Sashi. Our next speaker is Chitra S. Welcome, Chitra.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Good evening, City Council members and Cupertino residents. I'll be brief as there are many people waiting to congratulate the two new council members. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Kitty Moore and the residents of Cupertino for electing an able and conscientious leader to represent us. Kitty brings great commitment, integrity, dedication, accountability, attention to detail, and above all, a desire to listen to the residents, address their issues, and genuinely work towards solving them. Time and time again, as a strong voice of the residents, as the chair of the Planning Commission, Kitty has proven her pro-resident stance. I strongly believe that Kitty will make a great addition to our City Council and steer our city in the right direction. Kitty, I wish you good luck and congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitra. Our next speaker is Tessa Parish. Welcome, Tessa.
Hi, good evening again, and congratulations. Yay, Kitty! Congratulations, Hung Wei. I just wanted to personally say thank you, Kitty, for taking on the challenge. I got a chance to work with Kitty during the referendum side by side and personally see her compassion and dedication and work ethic, and most of all, her how she handled challenges against her adversaries with elegance and grace. Just wanted to say thank you again for doing that, but a special note for Kitty for taking on the commitment for campaign. She made a commitment to use under 30,000 or less. And in the name of democracy and fair elections, and as an individual that strongly believes in taking money out of politics, I really appreciated that. I really, really do, and I hope more people do that. It speaks volumes. It says a lot of a candidate that can win the residents over with just their organic community engagement. I really feel that Miss Kitty is going to be an incredible asset to the city as a city council member, and I'm sure she's going to make some very well-researched and thoughtful decisions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tessa. Our next speaker is Pam Hershey. Welcome, Pam.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. Congratulations again, Kitty Moore and Hung Wei, on your election. I've been a longtime resident of Cupertino, as many of you know. My parents moved here in 1967, and I've lived here since. Also been an educator for both school districts for about 25 years. So I've been involved in many, many aspects in the city, but I do want to say it's been my honor and the pleasure to work with Kitty and campaign for her for this election. I cannot say enough about her. After seeing her work ethic and her due diligence on the Planning Commission and many of the other things that we've worked with, the referendum and other city matters, it's very, very impressive. Her dedication and commitment to the residents and the city of Cupertino are really unparalleled. And I say that honestly, and I think it's very admirable. The residents will benefit from the knowledge and honesty in many city managers. I'm so excited to have a passionate city council member that will continue to move Cupertino into a future that will thrive. Kitty will always make concrete decisions, and I really do look forward to being there for you, Kitty, and best of luck for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Our next speaker is Ignatius Ding. Welcome, Ignatius.
Hi, congratulations to Councilwoman Kitty Moore. Thank you for taking a seat on our city council and offer your leadership to help our community forge ahead in this challenging time. You have been one of the best equipped and most experienced experts to serve on the City Planning Commission and now on the City Council. Kitty, you have run a very positive, informative, clean, and innovative campaign with a shoestring budget to earn large support from our very diverse community. Your campaign can consist of residents from various ethnic and age groups with no outside financial from outside group. Katie, we are looking forward to your leadership and reasoning voice to guide our city forward. Congratulations again for winning 2020 council race. Thank you.
Thank you, Ignatius, and thank you for your brevity. Our next speaker is Homer Tong. Welcome, Homer. Homer, if you can hear me, you'll need to unmute yourself before you can speak.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I want to just say thanks to the board, the council members, the two that have that are off the council, and then the three of you here, because just from tonight, I can see you spend all kinds of hours just listening to us. So thank you very much, Darcy, and for running this meeting. The second thing is that Kitty, I've heard so many good things about you, and I would certainly want to know more of you. You just sound great, a great addition to the council. Then Hung, I've known you for over 20 years and served together on the Fremont Union High School for 11 years. All right, all this time that you have impressed me so much based on your sincerity, your openness, your studying the issues, but more important than anything else that has been discussed is your heart. Your heart is in the right place, and you always gave me that, you say you love Cupertino, you spend all your time, energy, and everything else, literally, for Cupertino. So best wishes for you. You deserve all our support.
Thank you, Homer. Our next speaker is Dolly Sandoval. Welcome, Dolly.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor, and I think soon to be Mayor. I totally appreciate you having me on this evening. First, I'd like to congratulate both Kitty and Hung. You are now joining the Good Old Gals, which is a progressive elected women officials group here in Santa Clara County. And given that this is done
Dolly, you're blipping a bit out, so if you can maybe speak a little closer to the mic. Or it might be a reception issue. Sorry, Dolly, we've lost audio of you. And so if you want to raise your hand again, and we can try again. At this point, we'll thank you, former Mayor Sandoval. We'll go on to Orrin Mahoney. Welcome, Orrin.
That's how you unmute. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I want to congratulate both Hung and Kitty for a great campaign. Gilbert stole a little bit of my thunder. If you did see the pictures of Rod when he was in his first term and I was on the council with him, you will notice there was an all-male council in. And so as the father of 4 daughters, I am very happy to see a female majority on the council. And I particularly think with 2 new members on the council now, we have an opportunity for the council to work collaboratively and cooperatively together to work on Cupertino's future problems, but also our future opportunities. So congratulations to both of you, and look forward to helping you in any way I can, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, former Mayor Mahoney. Our next speaker is Brooke Ezot. Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak again. Congratulations to the incoming council members. I've had the privilege of working with Ms. Moore's campaign for the last several months, and the campaign was composed of people from different ethnic backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, and different party affiliations, but we were all united in our belief that good government is transparent and it should do the bidding of the people. I could be extremely tiresome in extolling the virtues of Ms. Moore, whom I've known for years, but I won't. But I can tell you she's intelligent, honorable, tough, hardworking, diplomatic, and she listens. These are all attributes that you want in a public servant. So congratulations, and you have a high bar to reach.
Thank you very much, Brooke. We have Dolly Sandoval again with her hand up, and so we'll try that one more time. Welcome, Dolly.
Okay, let's try this one more time. In my classroom, I usually use Google Meets, so this whole Zoom thing's a little different for me, I suppose. Anyways, thank you for having me back on again. Not quite sure where I let off there before, but I wanted to welcome Kitty and Hung to the Good Old Gals, which is an elected official, female elected officials group here in Santa Clara County, where powerful women get together, both who presently serve in elected office and former service people like myself. So welcome to the club, ladies. I know you will do well. I will also just take a second to remind Gilbert Wong that there were 3 council women on at one time, Sandy James, Chris Wang, and myself. It's been a decade, but still, I think you 3 will blaze some trails in the next 4 years. Hung, a lot of people have spoken about your leadership capacity in Rotary and on the school board and other places. I want to remind people that Hung Wei really is by and for the people in Cupertino. And if you doubt that, then just ask her for some restaurant recommendations. She always knows where to go and what dishes to get and who and how to treat people right. So thank you, Hung, for your leadership, both in the past, and I look forward to seeing you on the City Channel for future City Council meetings.
Great, thank you, Dolly. Our next speaker is Patrick Ahrens. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Hello, everyone. I'm Patrick Ahrens. I'm a Cupertino resident. I also serve on the Foothill De Anza College Board. And just speaking on behalf of myself tonight, I just wanted to congratulate Hung Wei on your election. You are my Rotary mom. You introduced me to volunteering here locally in Cupertino. I just would be remiss if I didn't sort of joke about how I'm probably not old enough to or have not been alive as long as the friendships that you have who've been speaking on your behalf today. But I believe that's also a strong testament to the strength of your leadership. And as Joe Simidian said, your commitment to world-class education for our students, you're certainly battle-tested to serve on the City Council through your leadership on the school board. And I know there are a lot of titles in politics, but my favorite title is being your friend. So thank you, Hung Wei. I also want to take the time to congratulate Kitty Moore on your election. Hi, Kitty. Thank you for your community organizing work in your campaign and reaching out to residents and reminding us that we work for them. And I'm looking forward to working with you as well, so we can continue to help our crown jewel of Cupertino, which I believe is De Anza College. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Patrick, and incredibly good timing. Our next speaker is Polly Bove. Welcome, Polly. Superintendent Bove. You'll need to unmute.
I think I did. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes.
Well, I'm going to argue about the crown jewel, but we'll do that later. Because I think all the schools in Cupertino are crown jewels. So thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. It's my honor to speak to the council tonight. The city of Cupertino is very fortunate to have had committed individuals as all of you. I want to say a couple words about the outgoing members. Stephen, a word of thanks for your 4 years of service. I've absolutely no doubt you'll continue to work for the city that you obviously love. Rod, we deeply appreciate your incredible work on the environment and transportation. We heard a lot about that tonight. But I also want to thank you for being a true friend of education, whether it was working with our robotics clubs or making sure we were always the focus of a lot of your work. It really made a difference. And all that you have done for schools, this community, and the world, making the world a better place, have made you a role model for us. And I just deeply thank you for your service. Councilmember Moore, I want to congratulate you on this great opportunity to work with this wonderful community. I look forward to working with you. And now for Hung. I've had the honor of working with you while you were one of Fremont Union High School District's Board of Trustees, and I know that you have come to this work as you did the work with schools, with a deep commitment as a true servant leader. I want your fellow council members to know that you will face every single situation, no matter how contentious or difficult, with an assumption of good intent for all involved. I also know that you'll always choose service beyond any self-interest. That is what will make you wonderful. Cupertino will be an even better place because of your dedication and tireless work, your huge heart, and your focus on whatever it takes to improve this city. Congratulations to you all. I am so pleased that the city has chosen so well. I know that the Fremont Union High School District will continue to partner with you as you serve students, families, and citizens in this city. Thank you for giving me some time tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Polly. Our next speaker is Govan Tatachari. Welcome, Govan.
Hi, am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay. Congratulations to the new council members, Hung Wei and Kitty Moore. During 2022, Cupertino Council will have a women majority, but we have a bigger goal. Los Altos had all women council in 2018. So we have a way to go. Okay. Kitty Moore, our newly elected council member, is a civil engineer with expertise in land development with additional CEQA training. I got to interact with Kitty while investigating some common issues in the spate of new legislation. And one thing that stood out is Kitty would make extraordinary effort to ensure she's well informed of the facts and evolving situation. Recently, she served on the Planning and Housing Commission, and many speakers today have already spoken about her contributions there. I'll be remiss if I did not offer insight into Kitty's struggles and strong work ethics. She had to work to become financially independent before she was 18 years old. She worked multiple jobs to support herself to pursue higher education and get a degree in civil engineering. I hope this message resonates with many people who are currently enrolled at De Anza and are struggling and trying to get through the grit, I also got to know her while campaigning during this election. The thing that stood out is she is a tireless campaigner. She improvised on Stephen's campaign on bike approach and added a trailer with pinwheels. She was also ably assisted, and to sum it up, I'm sure Kitty will bring her strengths of work ethic and special leadership qualities to Cupertino governance. I wish both of you good luck and congratulations.
Thank you, Govind. Our next speaker is Luke Lang. Welcome, Luke.
Hi, I would like to congratulate Councilmember Kitty Moore on her election to the Cupertino City Council. Without a doubt, 3 words best describe Kitty, and that's leadership, integrity, and honor. I'm confident that she will do the right thing for Cupertino and its residents. Growth and housing crises have been significant issues for the past decade. It's very unfortunate that many people promote propaganda on behalf of special interests. They blame the housing crisis on housing shortage. They say that building housing is like adding chair to the game of musical chair that will ensure everyone gets a chair. The reality is that the special interest has been adding 5 players for every chair it adds. This has been going on for decades, and that's why we have a housing crisis now. The only real answer is a balance between housing and job. With the addition of Councilmember Moore, the Cupertino City Council will continue to combat these false narratives and guide Cupertino in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. Our next speaker is Sudha Kazimsetti, who is back. Welcome, Sudha.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul, for the opportunity. I want to quickly thank Mayor Stephen Scharf for his 8 years of tireless service to the community. It's been a pleasure to have known him more closely during the campaign specifically, and definitely enjoyed his sense of humor. Thank you once again. My hearty congratulations to our new council member, Kitty Moore, a very much deserved win. Once again, it was a pleasure to campaign with you and for you. Prior to you running for City Council, I knew you for your thoroughness from Planning Commission meetings, but one of the things I observed from your campaign is how approachable you were in listening to the resident concerns and how you were keen on taking notes and suggestions from the residents. I admire your boundless enthusiasm and eagerness to serve the residents of Cupertino. I also want to take this opportunity and congratulate our new council member Hung Wei for your victory. My best wishes. And I believe that we have a strong leadership team on council, and I'm very confident that our city will witness a steady progress with this leadership team and be strong advocates for our residents. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Sudha. Our next speaker is Richard Lowenthal. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much. You can hear me?
We can hear you.
Thanks. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul and the entire council for holding this long session tonight. We appreciate the opportunity to speak. Welcome to the City Council, Kitty, and congratulations on winning your seat through the support of many voters in Cupertino. We all appreciate your willingness to serve our city in the past as a commissioner and now as a council member. We're here to help you succeed in your new role in any way we can. Congratulations, Kitty. Hung, congratulations to you as well for winning your election by having over 11,000 people vote for you. I'm confident that you will be a wonderful council member, just as you were a wonderful school board member for many years for our high schools. Your leadership in virtually all of our nonprofits has demonstrated your selflessness and energy for helping our community and its residents. You have the extraordinary ability to create collaboration, and you've demonstrated an extraordinary ability to successfully deal with challenging situations by listening to everyone. We're lucky to have you. I especially respect the way you both conducted your campaigns. When many folks were calling others names or labeling people or trying to bully people, you both ran all positive campaigns. You never attack others and just talk about what you plan to do with our community and for our community. I hope that this is the beginning of a return to a more positive time in our city. It was clear that positive campaigning worked and our community rejected negative campaigning. So thanks for setting a new tone and bringing your positivity. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you, former Mayor Lowenthal. Our next speaker is Connie Cunningham. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. First, I want to congratulate, I'm going to congratulate both Hung Wei and Kitty Moore for being elected to the council. First, congratulations, Hung Wei, on your historic win at this election with 11,513 votes. Because of your years of effective service on FUHSD board and your leadership on complicated education issues, you bring a wealth of knowledge and caring for Cupertino residents. You're an advocate for the environment and sustainability. And near to my heart, you are interested in providing housing solutions for seniors, teachers, and many others. It is not easy to lead a city, but I think you will be an excellent addition to the council, and I wish you the very best. And to Kitty Moore, congratulations on your win. I joined 3 prior speakers, Gilbert Wong, Orrin Mahoney, and Dolly Sandoval, in saying that it is interesting indeed to see 3 women council members on the council this term. Perhaps it is this change that will allow us to craft policies to solve our housing, education, and transportation challenges. It is not easy to lead a city in these times with so many challenges. I wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Our next speaker is Benifer Dastur. Welcome, Benifer.
Hi, thank you.
Congratulations, Council Member Hung Wei and Council Member Kitty Moore on your election to the council. It is a new day for Cupertino, where women will be majority on the council and have a strong voice at the table, along with our city manager. Council members Liang, Kitty, and Hung, you are all accomplished women in your own right, and we are thankful for your contribution to the causes of our students and the city. Council member Hung Wei and Moore, as new council members, you will face challenges, opposition, support on issues and projects. It will be up to you how you handle that. You can choose a path of dividing the city and pitting residents against each other to accomplish a project and your goals, or you can lead with example of working together with all the council members, bring everyone along with compassion and humanity as you compromise and resolve challenging issues and projects before you. Whichever path you choose, it will be your legacy. I wish you all the very best and success as you start your first term. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you, Benaifer. Our next speaker is Dinessa Takmanski. Welcome, Dinessa.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Anyhow,
I think we can't hear you now, though. You might have remuted yourself. If you can hear me, Dinessa?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear
Yes.
me? Okay. So Hung and Kitty, I thank you both so much for stepping up to serve in these incredibly difficult times. With COVID, the housing bills, there's just so much going on, the economy. You're both very brave women. Hung, I really enjoyed meeting with you already, and I have full faith that you will transfer all of your skills and experience from working in the public schools to your position as a council member. And I really look forward to working with you in the years ahead. Kitty, I've worked with you already on many issues, including Sacramento legislation, housing, and environmental concerns. And I want to say in all these years I've known you, I've never doubted that you would make an exemplary council member. You always give 200% and have the kind of dedication, fortitude, and integrity that I wish we could see in every politician. It's an incredible honor to call you my friend and now my council member. I don't know when you sleep, Kitty, because you never miss a beat. Anyhow, thank you, both of you ladies, and I wish the very best of luck to you both. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinessa. Our next speaker is Sevilla Vaidyanathan. Welcome, Sevilla.
Thank you very much. As a former female council member, I'm very happy to welcome both Kitty Moore and Hung Wei to the Cupertino City Council. Thank you both so much for campaigning and winning. Honorable Council Member Hung Wei, you know what it is to be honorable. I am so happy. I can't stop smiling. I wish you could see me. I hope you can hear me smiling. Congratulations on your election to the Cupertino City Council. You fought a clean and fair campaign with determination. You fought it with objectivity and you fought it with fairness and won with the highest number of votes. And don't let anyone tell you anything differently. And I'm certain that you will fight with the same spirit for our collective futures. You have been an advocate for our youth and you have shown compassion for them. I have served with you on several community service projects, and I know you display empathy for us teachers and for our seniors. And you also show concern for our environment. I am confident that you will show the same compassion, empathy, and concern when you make decisions on our behalf. And I'm so proud that you're serving on the Cupertino City Council. I look forward to a positive and honorable way forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, former Mayor Vaidyanathan. We have Assembly Member Evan Lowe next. Welcome, Evan.
Thank you very much. I had to come back and give congratulations and kudos to two dynamic public servants. Congratulations, Councilwoman Moore, and to Hung Wei, of course, our past Assemblywoman of the Year for the District of 28 here in Silicon Valley. We look forward to the continued service. And similarly, I know the two of you will hold me to account in serving our Cupertino residents. We will fight like a family, but we will also come together like a family. Congratulations to you both. Looking forward to the year ahead.
Thank you, Assemblymember Lowe. Our next speaker is Byrne Steeves. Welcome, Byrne. And Byrne, if you can hear me.
Hello.
There you go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Good evening, council members, and thank you, Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. I've had the privilege in the past of representing various individuals and groups in dealings with the city, some of them rather controversial, but I think they all moved us all forward. Today, I would just like to offer some personal comments. Congratulations, Kitty Moore, to a very well-deserved win, and congratulations also to Hung Wei on joining the City Council. Peggy Griffin and Lisa Warren and Govan and others have already spoken very eloquently about Kitty, so I would just like to endorse and repeat what they said. Working on the City Council is a tough job with hundreds of details and dozens of agenda items being thrown at you every week. It's important to keep track of basics. For example, the fact that legislation, local legislation, is made by the county and not by local city officers. It's important to keep your supervisory role. It's important to keep the track of what the role is of other city agencies, such as the Planning Commission or the city attorney. So keep a good watch out, steer the city in a good direction, and good luck.
Thank you, Byrne. Our next speaker is J.R. Fruin. Welcome, J.R.
Good evening, Council. Congratulations, Kitty. Congratulations, Hung. I wish you all the best. You have a really challenging couple of years coming up ahead of you, and I hope that you can look at them as an opportunity for all of you and for the city to have a wonderful dialogue about how we move forward. Hung, I am so very happy to see you seated on council. I know that you will keep every single member of this community in your heart as you make decisions, and I look forward to seeing what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, JR. Our next speaker is Shani Kleinhouse. Welcome, Shani.
Good evening. And on behalf of the Santa Clara Valley Audubon Society, I would like to congratulate both Kitty Moore and Hung Wei. Listening to the comments tonight, you're impressive women, and I think you will do a wonderful job of putting everything together and rebuilding the mesh of Cupertino, both socially and hopefully also for the birds, because that's who I speak for. Thank you.
Thank you, Shani. Our next speaker is Janice Sung. Welcome, Janice. And Janice, you'll need to unmute yourself. Hey, Janice, if you can hear us one more time, you'll need to unmute yourself before we can hear you. Okay, there might be a technical difficulty there, so we'll go on to the next speaker, Minna Shi. Welcome, Minna.
Thank you. And I just come here to say congratulations to new council members. And for Kitty Moore, all our friends knows that how much you sacrifice for protecting our community. And even before serving on planning commission, we know you spend so much time on city developmental rules, and you study the zoning laws and all the related research. We do appreciate what you did. And we believe you are so qualified for this seat. And all our friends believe you will be an excellent policy maker, and you have support from all the friends. And I missed the first part of this meeting, I just want to say thank you for Stephen Scharf for his service. And I still remember we worked together during the hardest time in 2016. And thanks for Stephen to stand up and decided to run for city council that year. And Stephen Scharf was the first elected Better Cupertino volunteer, and your courage really changed a lot of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Minna. Our next speaker is Neil Park McClintock. Welcome, Neil. And Neil, you'll need to unmute yourself for us to hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. I wanted to say congratulations to both of you. In particular, Hung Wei. I think you're a remarkably positive human being. And I've really appreciated over the course that I've gotten to know you in the past year, how much space you've created for young people such as myself, just to have a voice. And I've always felt like you were actually listening to what I was saying. And I remember when we first met at a diner, and yeah, I still remember that conversation to this day. And so I look forward to you continuing to hopefully create those spaces for young folks. In the time I have left, I did want to make a note about some concerns that I do have moving forward. And hopefully this, as a new city council, we can have a fresh start. In the past year, I've frequented these meetings and other city spaces. I've been very disappointed by how little we seem to care about the housing realities, how we claim to be an amazing town that just needs to keep being great while our schools do face chronic enrollment decline. It's not just a one-time thing. And as well, more than ever, new families aren't moving in and all the young people I know are leaving. And I'm out of time. So again, congratulations, and hopefully, this is something that we can really work to address.
Thank you, Neil. Our next speaker is Kiran Varshnaya. Welcome, Kiran.
Hello again, and Vice Mayor Darcy Paul. Thank you for the opportunity. I do want to congratulate Kitty Moore and Hung Wei for winning the elections and coming in as our new city council members. You both have absolutely amazing resumes, so thank you for stepping up to serve the community in this fashion. I want to say just a few words for Hung. She is, as I have seen her, she's just a community worker to the core. I think somehow she squeezes in more than 24 hours a day doing that. She is the proverbial reaching across the aisle. She's open for different perspectives to listen to them. I also want to say, as I have seen her, she values the diversity of our community, and I really appreciate that. As a council member, you will be an asset to our city government. And I'm also very happy that you are a climate champion. So thank you and congratulations to you both.
Thank you, Kiran. Our next speaker is Stephen Scharf. Welcome, Stephen.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Well, congratulations to Kitty Moore and Hung Wei on their election to City Council. I first met Kitty in 2016 when I was campaigning door to door and went by her house. I never dreamed that she could be convinced to apply to Planning Commission, and never believed she could be convinced to run for City Council. But here she is. And I think the key turning point was when a developer had her car towed away from the Bay Club parking lot where she was a member. So that may have been a good turning point there. I campaigned with Kitty in this election. We put in a lot of miles bicycling around the city, towing our heavy bike trailers and talking to residents. We both signed the campaign finance limit pledge. And based on that, I knew that probably one of us would only be elected. And I have to say, I'm not unhappy that Kitty came in second and I came in third. She told me she probably wouldn't run again if she lost, but that may not be the case for me. Kitty has the kind of honesty and integrity that we need on our city council. Her experience on Planning Commission will be invaluable going forward, especially as our city creates our next housing element. I've been very impressed with her adherence the Brown Act, something all elected and appointed officials have to deal with. And I'm happy that the city council continues to have a solid pro-resident majority advocating for affordable housing, the environment, transparency, local control, and honesty. Thank you.
Thank you, former Mayor Scharf. Our next speaker is Vinod Balakrishnan. Welcome, Vinod.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Congratulations, Kitty Moore and Hung Wei, for stepping up to serve the city. Speaking about Kitty Moore, you ran a very successful campaign backed by local volunteers. Kitty has a broad and deep understanding on city issues, formal training on civil engineering, very approachable personality, and an artistic background. These qualities will make you a well-rounded, successful council member. Congratulations and all the best for Kitty. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod. Our next speaker is Rahul Vasanth. Welcome, Rahul.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. My name is Rahul Vasanth, and as a library commissioner, speaking only for myself, I would argue that the Cupertino Library is the crown jewel of our city. Congratulations to Councilmember Hung Wei. I look forward to your continued service to our community. Councilmember Moore, when the election results came in, I told my family that the city of Cupertino is in good hands. There is nobody more hardworking, nobody more knowledgeable about municipal zoning, CEQA, and a host of just about every other municipal matter than you, and we're so blessed to have you representing us. I thank you for your compassionate, effective leadership in chairing the Planning Commission. The sexism that was on display during some of the public comments towards the only female commissioner that first 2018 Planning Commission meeting was disgraceful. I'm reminded of what a very senior public servant that served at the highest levels of government told me. There's something about principled, strong leadership when a female public servant represents the people, not powerful special interest groups that attract some of the worst behavior in politics. Kitty, you are strong. Your warmth, your exuberance, your phenomenal track record, your unimpeachable integrity and dedication towards the community is clear to us all. I'm looking forward to 8 years of bold leadership from someone that I know will never stop fighting for transparency, accountability, and reform. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Our next speaker is Vijay Chava. Welcome, Vijay.
Do you hear me, Darcy?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Darcy. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. I'm Vijay Chava. I've been a long resident of Cupertino. I'm associated with several community organizations, including WPCS. And thank you, Rod Singh and Mayor Scharf for long service for the city and its residents. And let me also take opportunity to thank Deb and Kirstine for conducting these elections very peacefully and nicely. It's a tireless job. You guys have done a wonderful job in conducting these elections. And let me congratulate Kitty Moore and Hung Wei for getting the new role and new responsibility, new job. Cupertino is definitely polarized. We have seen that in election campaign, and it's a time to leave that behind and need to work together. And I have seen Hung Wei very closely, her integrity, diligence, respect, and the smile I've seen her face throughout this meeting. That's an added value for Cupertino City. And good luck, everyone. And we as residents are here to support you anytime you need our voluntary services. And once again, congratulations, new council members. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Our next speaker is Ilango Genga. Welcome, Ilango.
Hello, this is Ilango Ganga. Thank you, Vice Mayor Paul. First, I would like to congratulate our incoming council members, Kitty Moore and Hung Wei. Kitty Moore, it's well known that you have been a diligent and data-driven in the Planning Commission. I'm sure you will bring the same diligence to the City Council and drive community-focused policies as a council member. Wish you all the best. And also as a parent of 2 daughters who aspire to bring in diversity to their professions, it's really great to see women majority elected to our city council leadership positions and bringing in diverse perspectives to our council. As residents of Cupertino, we will be there to cheer for you when you set resident-focused policies for our city. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Elango. Our next speaker is Donna Austin. Welcome, Donna.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Donna.
Okay. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. I am a community member and interested in all things Cupertino. I love Cupertino. And what I'm excited about is that our 2 people that were elected by over 10,000 and 11,000 votes. People really believe in them, that they are caring and loving Cupertino too. And I'm counting on you, and especially Hung Wei, who's been a good friend of mine. She's so involved in the community, Rotary and Quota and League of Women Voters and the Board of Education. She's loving and caring. And I think Kitty Moore will probably be involved too, because she was a planning commissioner and very knowledgeable. I think it's really exciting having 3 women on the council, and I just want to thank them and hope that you will be a bridge unifying our community so that we're not divided anymore, but that we're all cared for and listened to. And I think you're good listeners. We can work collaboratively, caring, loving, and fair to everybody in the community. And I think you too will do that. And I'm hoping so. And congratulations, Hung Wei, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Our next speaker is Janice Sung. Welcome, Janice.
Hi, Darcy. Thanks. I'm Janice Song and current president of Cupertino Hsinchu Sister City Association. I'm honored to present the organization, say thanks to all of our council members. Thanks for your great leadership and strong support for many years of our student program. I appreciate your passion that makes it possible to stay with our students, to visit Hsinchu, Taiwan, and promote friendship between the 2 sister cities. Welcome to the new city council members, Hung Wei and Kitty Moore. We look forward to your continuous support for our student program. Congratulations, Hung Wei. You have contributed to the community for many years and know that you are very enthusiastic citizen. Congratulations on being elected as a city council. Congratulations.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Janice. Our next speaker is Kriti Garg. Welcome, Kriti.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kriti. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor Paul, for the opportunity to speak tonight. I perhaps selfishly would like to congratulate all of us for electing Hung Wei to City Council. I had the honor of meeting Hung in 2008 when I was a high school student through the Verdadera program that was mentioned earlier. She touched the lives of thousands of students and parents over the years with her unparalleled commitment to mental health advocacy and community development, and then brought that to the whole district as a governing board member for FUHSD. As many have already mentioned, she served as a mentor for young leaders and new trustees like myself, even if we were not yet able to vote for her due to our age at the time. And so I'm glad to see an empathetic, inquisitive, data-driven, forward-thinking leader who deeply cares about the well-being of all of our neighbors, including our low-income seniors, students, essential workers, and those experiencing homelessness. I look forward to seeing that same level of integrity and commitment to the future of Cupertino from our entire City Council. Kitty Moore, I also want to congratulate you on your successful campaign and look forward to learning more about your vision for an inclusive and accessible Cupertino.
Thank you, Kitty. Our next speaker is Yan Zhao. Welcome, Yan.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
All right. Hi, I'm Yan Zhao, council member from City of Saratoga. Actually, I have to, I'm actually on another conference call, but I just I have to come and say congratulations to Kitty and Hong. And it's Cupertino, it's so lucky to have two new fearless female leaders. I'm so looking forward to work with you two and the rest of council members from City of Cupertino. Congratulations and enjoy the next 4 years.
Thank you, Councilmember Zhao. Our next speaker is Zhang Yi, and Zhang Yi is also the last speaker. Welcome, Zhang Yi.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to be brief, and I just want to congratulate Hung Wei and Kitty Moore to your successful campaigns and becoming Cupertino City Council members. This is a challenging time for the city with many issues ahead of us, and I'm very happy to see both of you in the council, knowing that the city of Cupertino will greatly benefit from your service. I look forward to seeing your great contributions to unifying the city and the residents. Congratulations again, Hung and Kitty. I wish you the best. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. We do have one more hand raised. Stephen Hoffman. Welcome, Stephen. And you'll need to unmute yourself.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak briefly. I hope I'm not repetitive here. My name's Steve Hoffman. I've been a resident of Cupertino since 1980. I had a law practice across the street from Cupertino City Hall for over 30 years. Even during that time, I haven't had any experience or firsthand knowledge of either Hung Wei or Kitty Moore, but I voted for you both on the strength of a very strong recommendation and your integrity and your hard work and your reputation for that has preceded you. And I think I'm hearing a lot of that tonight. And I wanted to wish you congratulations. I know you'll do a great job. With respect to Darcy, I've known Darcy since he started his political career with the city of Cupertino. We shared office space, like I said, across from Cupertino. He's one of the smartest guys I know. He's got the highest degree of integrity, and I know he'll do a great job leading the city again. And congratulations to you as well, Darcy. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. And with that, we'll wrap up comments on this item, and we'll proceed with the swearing in of Councilmember Moore and Councilmember Wei. Madam City Clerk, if you would please conduct the swearing ins. Thank you.
Certainly, Mr. Vice Mayor. So at this time, I'd like to request that everyone except for Councilmember-elect Moore, please turn off your video and mute yourself. Thank you. So Councilmember Moore, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Catherine Corzine Moore.
I, Catherine Corzine Moore.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To support and defend.
To support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Constitution of the United States.
to the Constitution of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter for the city of Cupertino. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kate.
Okay, at this point, we'll proceed with the swearing in of Councilmember Way.
And I would now like to request at this point that, okay, Councilmember-elect Way already has her video on. Wonderful. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Hung Wei,
I, Hung Wei,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the constitutions of the United States
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
and to the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter for the city of Cupertino.
With the city of Cupertino.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and the council and our city attorney and city manager may now turn the video back on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirsten. It is now 9:52. We've been going for a little over 3 hours at this point. I'm going to ask that we take a very punctual 5-minute break.
Can we say some welcome comments for the new council members?
Let's put that into the agendized portion that comes after the next item, because we do have an agenda item where we make comments. So
okay,
please feel free to reserve that for item 4. So it's now 9:53. We'll start back promptly at 9:58. We'll see you in 5 minutes.